That's Retro Fandango. That's Retro Fandango. When it's Android over iPhone, and you can keep your stupid amiibo and always bashing on Nintendo. But that's Retro Fandango. That's Retro Fandango. Thanks, Retro Fandango. Wow!
Here we are. Look at us.
Right.
Hey,
yeah,
Richard.
here we are.
Yeah, hold on. Hold on. Richard, do you remember which one should I do first? Let's see if this works.
Oh, no.
Do you
Did
remember
you do
it? Do you remember this?
A Fandango exclusive.
Did you hear that?
I actually don't remember that.
A Fandango exclusive.
What about this one?
No.
Yeah, that one I remember.
Or this one? Or this one?
That's classic.
Or this one?
Boner. Maybe I'll be your boner.
Do you remember that one?
Yes, I do.
Where's the
Fandango boner?
No, not that one. I got
Fandango
so many
boner.
There's too
Maybe
many
I'll be your
boners.
boner.
I thought I put.
No!
I put you. Wait, I thought I put. Come on, dude. Just let me try.
Yes.
Okay, let me try to find it. Oh no, is this it? Oh no, it's not that one. Wait, there's more sounds. I missed it. I thought I put Bite a Baby. Anyways, who cares? I'm dragging it out too long.
How can you not have Bite a Baby? That's
I don't know.
The most popular one.
Oh wait, here it is. I just found it. Duke came up, and it came up on my screen. It was meant to be.
I couldn't hear any of that. I couldn't hear any of that you're playing. No,
you couldn't hear this.
Really?
Bite a baby.
I don't hear anything.
You don't hear that?
Bite a baby.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe because you're not wearing headphones.
I'm wearing AirPods.
Oh wait.
I don't know why.
I hear nothing. I hear nothing.
Oh, hopefully it makes. Listen, as long as it makes the recording, that's all that matters. Because
you heard them.
As long as it's not age.
Well, I have upgraded to trifocals, so it maybe I need hearing aids as well.
Those aren't really a thing, are they? Are the trifocals?
That's what I'm wearing.
No, that's really a thing.
Yeah, you want to? Can you see the? Maybe there's 3 lenses in that thing.
Oh yeah, I do.
You see them?
Why 3? There's nearsighted. There's farsighted. What other sighted is there?
I was having trouble in the middle.
Middle sighted.
Middle sighted. I'm middle sighted.
Oh my god.
Near far. Yeah, because there was like this dead zone right around 3 foot away from my face. That was a big blur. Doctor's like, yeah, you need trifocals. I was like, that's a thing. He's like, yeah. So
wow.
I thought everybody was on those progressive things now, where it's like a subtle fade.
I've never tried those. I don't think I'd like those. I like the definitive triple, triple movement.
You need
as an electrician. It's when I'm working, it's a problem because sometimes I'm forced to be a certain distance away from something because I'm in a tight space. And if I was in that dead zone, I was like, because Bobby works with me, I'm like, what's that say? I can't read that. So, or I take a picture with my phone and then zoom in. Yeah.
I do that a lot.
Yeah, me too. Still, even with the glasses.
I got progressives, and it took me a while to get used to. It's still like a switch. You're still like switching, but it's just there's like a progressive progression between the two, right? It's not like a line. But it did take me a while to get used to them. Like I was going downstairs, and I'd be like this, holding my glasses, because it'd throw you off.
Oh yeah.
And my buddy Frank had like these really narrow stairs going down to his apartment, and you're just holding on to them all the way down.
I couldn't get used to that because I just have these are just readers because I can't see anything that's a foot away from me. So I would always end up doing this and sticking them on the edge of my nose whenever I had to see anything else. And I went to the optometrist, and they tried doing that progressive thing where there's nothing and then there's the readers, and I just couldn't get used to it because I would constantly be going like this, just up and down.
Yeah. It took me a while to get used to them, and then I tried to be smart because I had old sunglasses that were not progressives, right? But I just I don't need them for driving, right? I just need to look around, but switching between the two, with and without, gave me a
Wow.
massive headache.
Let me tell you, what these do is the beauty of these glasses is the sunglasses clip magnetized to them.
Yeah. I got
So
those
it's
now.
really cool.
Yeah.
I'm just like clip.
Yeah.
So when I'm driving, I just got to clip them on so I can still have the trifocals when I'm wearing sunglasses.
Right. I have those now. I was trying to be cheap and just get like normal and then use my old sunglasses, but it didn't. Being cheap just never works for me. Yeah.
Ryan is saying hello, by the way. I'm not sure if you can see any of the chat.
I got the sound.
How do I do that?
Hey,
Rocket
Ryan.
Sauce is in here.
Hey, let me ask Rocket Sauce if he can hear the
Oh shoot.
if he can hear the sound effects.
How do I see the chat? I don't do any. Oh, I heard that.
Boner.
I hear that now.
Maybe it is just a volume thing. Maybe you got to turn it up.
I hear it now.
Okay. Oh, I could turn it up here. I didn't want it to be too loud. How about now?
Boner.
No.
Boner.
Nothing.
Ryan's got it. It's going through.
Does he? Okay.
Boner.
Well, as long as Ryan can hear the boner, that's all that matters. So
How
I don't
do I
have
see
to
hear the boners on the mic.
Oh, I give up. I was trying to figure out how to see the chat, but I don't know how to do it.
Are
it
you
should
on
on
a
the side.
tablet or?
Yeah, I'm on my iPad.
Oh, well, there you go. It's an Apple product.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
It
Right?
is. That's
Android.
I'll make fun of Amiibos and Nintendo. It will be complete.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I wore my Dave Matthews Band shirt just for and my Dave Matthews Band hat just for Kevin.
I got my Judas Priest.
We're having battle of the bands here.
Come on. If you had a choice, Richard, to go see Judas Priest or Dave Matthews, who would you go see?
I got to be honest. I don't know
Matthews.
who Dave Matthews is.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's it. That's the answer right there.
I've heard the name.
You don't know who Dave Matthews is?
I've heard the name. I couldn't tell you a single song, album, or even what style of music he is.
That is crazy to me.
Like, do they actually play Dave Matthews on the radio anywhere? Like
Radio?
Yeah, like what song?
Of course. Crash, Satellite, Ants Marching, Two Step. I could go on and on. There's all right. You've heard of them. You're just getting my
I've never heard of them. No, I don't know.
All right. Well, he's my favorite band. So
well,
I've seen him dozens and dozens of times in concert. So
okay. Well, we're gonna catch up with Duke later because we should get to our main topic. So Duke, you're done making up songs now, right? Titles of songs?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get to the island of Dr. Now I gotta say Moreau. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
It's not Moreau.
I think so.
It's not Monroe. Moreau. Island of Dr. Moreau.
The island of Dr. Monroe would have been much funnier.
Would have been good. There was some funny stuff that happened in this movie. It was funny.
Oh, I chuckled a few times.
Yeah, but I don't think intentionally. Okay, so we watched the movie and then we watched the documentary based on the movie about the director who originally started this project and then eventually was kicked off. And the movie was taken over by Jerry Bruckheimer. No, what's his name?
Frankenheimer.
Frankenheimer. That's right.
Barbenheimer. Something like that.
If I could correct you for just a second, I actually watched the documentary and then I watched the film.
You know, I wonder if I would appreciated the movie a little more if I did that. But
I think
I watched the film first. I watched the film first. I'm glad I did.
That was my plan, but I actually had trouble with the Plex server. So I waited till the last minute, of course, to watch it. So
of course.
I gave myself 2 nights remaining.
I only gave you 2 months to do it.
Exactly. Well, you know what? You set me up with it, and I got on there, and I saw, I have access, and here's the movie. I clicked on it, and it popped up, and I was like, great. I'll wait until the last minute to watch these. So I put on the movie the other night, and it started doing the endless buffering, the ring. You know, it's like, okay, what's going on here? So then I checked out the documentary. It was doing the same thing, but then it clicked in and it started playing. So I'm watching it and watching it, and then it starts talking about this guy Richard Stanley. I'm like, wait a minute, because I got as far as the credits with the film, and I definitely saw John Frankenheimer, like a film by John Frankenheimer. So then I was curious because I didn't know about the director switch. So I started watching the documentary, and I was like, okay, they're not really spoiling anything, so let me watch this first. If it gets spoilery, I'll turn it off. But then no, I went straight to the documentary, then went back to watch the film the next night, and it did the buffering thing like forever, and then finally it clicked over when I turned it down all the way, from 1080p to 720 to 460, whatever the 300 version was, that it finally went through. It's probably a distance thing.
Side note, I watched it free on YouTube. The whole movie was on YouTube for free. So
really?
Oh, God, so I didn't have to do all that?
No, in fact, and then because I was afraid about using what you gave me because I have an iPad I don't have a computer, so I didn't know how. Sometimes that stuff doesn't work well for me with Apple products.
It should work.
I was like, well, let me just see. So I always do the Google, where can I stream Island of Dr. Moreau? And right away, it's YouTube free. I was like, oh, great. So I just watched it on YouTube. And then the documentary was on Amazon for free because I have Amazon Prime. So I was able to watch that on Amazon.
Right.
So,
okay. Well,
yeah.
Oh, okay. The more you know. I have to supply Richard with these movies because a lot of times we run into the region.
Sure.
Well, yeah, that alone, because I did check out, like, hey, is this on YouTube? And for me, it wasn't. And then I remembered, I should check Netflix, and it wasn't there. I even went out to my local rental shop to see if I could find it, and they didn't have it. So then I was just persistent. Sauce has chimed in a couple times here. He says he saw the movie when it came out. He was way too young to see all that animal people sex, but I remember thinking it sucked back when it came out. You might have to explain why we decided to watch this film, because we kind of knew what we were in for.
Yeah, I've heard the legend that this movie was a disaster. It had a lot of problems behind the scenes, and the end result wasn't very good. So it's been an avenue that I've wanted to go down for a very long time, to check out the movie and the documentary on it, because I do find that interesting, right? I do find it, like, when things don't work out very well, and to find out why it doesn't work very well and all that. It just, I don't know. I find it as something to, I mean, it's fun to laugh at somebody else's failure, right?
Yeah, it is.
We've made like 10, 11 years out of that.
That's why Richard is the co-host. That's why he's on it. But yeah, like, there is some, I hesitate to say the word genius, but there's some craziness that happens in this movie that just went on to be a part of pop culture, which I don't think most people know. I didn't know before I started watching it. So
I definitely didn't realize the Mike Myers connection.
Right. I didn't either. I didn't even think about that.
No. So we'll get into it. But let's just, like, lay down what this movie is. So the movie is the Island of Dr. Moreau. It is based loosely, very loosely
Moreau.
based. Moreau. See, I knew I would say it wrong at some point. So I'm just going to say the doctor. So yeah, it's loosely based on H.G. Wells' novel of the same title that came out in 1896. The novel is supposed to be about humanity, humanity's struggle with, just living every day kind of thing. And, like, I haven't read the book, but this is just what the Cliff Notes basically said. And he was writing it as like, there was a lot of animal experimentation happening at the time, and there was a lot of debate on how much animal experimentation should we actually do as humanity. Should we be, going, like, how far should we go with it and all that? So this was kind of his response to it. And then there was also a lot of stuff about laws and how much laws affect society, because the film, apparently, according to the documentary, all the films that have been made kind of finish halfway through the novel. In the novel, the animals eventually take over the island, and this movie does kind of go a little bit into that towards the end, but it's kind of just falls apart towards the end. So yeah, it's stars. What was the lead guy's name? I can't remember. The guy that he's on
Professor Lupin.
Okay, so
Lupin. That's the guy who played for Professor Lupin in Harry Potter, I believe. Anyway.
Oh, I still haven't seen any of those Harry Potter movies.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The werewolf guy.
The whole time I was watching this, I was like, that guy looks so familiar. What have I
That's all I
seen him
know him
in?
from. Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely. I think I've seen that movie once, but his face is
That
very
was
distinct.
I believe that was the third movie.
David Thewlis.
Okay, so that guy, he gets
Yeah.
he's in a shipwreck. He's on a little dinghy with two other guys. They don't have any food or whatever. The two other guys end up getting into a fight, knocking each other off the dinghy and getting eaten by sharks. By the way, we're getting into spoilers, so get ready. I mean, this isn't a movie that you can really spoil because it's not really worth watching. So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
No.
Anyways, two guys get eaten by shark. He ends up with Val. I guess Val Kilmer is on a boat, and they end up picking him up and bringing him to the island of the doctor's island, and he has a choice whether he could stay with Val Kilmer, or he could leave with the boat that picked him up. And I don't know. I guess Val Kilmer like kind of insinuates that the captain's going to do some gay sex on him if he stays on the boat. So he decides, I don't want gay sex. I want to stay on this island with Val Kilmer, who promises that there's a radio and he'll be rescued in a few days. So he ends up in this compound that the doctor has set up. Val Kilmer is like his number one, the doctor's number one guy. And they end up on this compound, and things aren't exactly what they seem. At first, everything's fine. He sees a pretty girl dancing around. He kind of like, starts striking up a convo with her, and she turns out to be the doctor's daughter, and she's kind of off limits. And then eventually, what happened after that? He meets the doctor, right?
Well, Val Kilmer shows him to his room. He's locked in.
Oh, right, yeah, right.
Yeah. And he sneaks out. He starts going around the island, and I think that's when he meets the dancer. And then later on, he ends up sneaking into a laboratory or birthing chamber or
right.
delivery room.
It's pretty standard stuff. Like when at the opening of the film, I was like, this isn't very good, but it's not terrible. I was expecting like really, hammy acting, things that didn't make sense, like just total nonsense.
I think a lot of the first 20 minutes or so, I had no problems with the film.
Yeah.
It just felt like it needed that polish, that style. It needed a little bit of someone's vision, to kind of get into the documentary a little bit.
Or even a better lead actor to carry those earlier scenes.
I think
he wasn't
awful.
very good. Well,
his mannerisms were bizarre. It was like he was drunk or like staggering everywhere. He was just annoying to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it comes up a lot later in the film where he just feels very absent. It's like he has no there's no incentive or drive behind him. He has those kind of things early on. He's trying to get off the island, but the scenes feel almost tacked on. Like there's a scene where he's going to the boat and he's trying to sneak off, but there's these little monsters on there, and he just suddenly abandons ship comically, and it feels like this is probably a situation where, okay, we got Marlon Brando, we got Val Kilmer, they're getting screen time, so we're taking away from who should be the main character, and we should be spending so much time with him, seeing things from his perspective. But then you get all those, well, Brando wanted to do this, Kilmer wanted to do this or didn't want to do this, so we have to take that into account. And the movie just suffers for it.
Yeah, well, if you recall from the documentary, he was not the first choice as well. Their first guy was Rob Morrow, not Monroe, not Morrow, Rob Morrow from Northern Exposure. He was supposed to be the lead, and he actually filmed there for 3 or 4 days. And I couldn't remember. Did he complain to his agent to get him off that film, or was he fired?
I think he
I think it was
complained.
a complaint to the agent.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, and he was just like, get me out of here because it's a nut house, it's a madhouse.
And they had James Woods lined up as well, right?
Right. Yeah, James Woods was supposed to play Val Kilmer's part. So originally, yeah, it was Rob Morrow. James Woods was supposed to play Val Kilmer's part, and Brando was always
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. That's right. Yeah.
Also.
Yeah. But then for scheduling or whatever it was, and then they basically, I think they just wanted bigger. I think Bruce Willis was a scheduling thing, and then they could get some bigger names, I guess, because Val Kilmer was kind of like the rising star at the time, and they thought, oh, okay, well, we'll put our money into that. I guess we'll kind of go back and forth between the documentary and the film. So just at this point in the documentary, so yeah, originally the film was supposed to be directed by this Richard Starkey guy who did, or Stanley, sorry, Richard Stanley. Starkey.
I actually know who that is, though. Aren't you impressed?
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, so he directed a couple of B horror films that had a lot of traction. That was gaining traction. He was kind of going to be like the next big director. He was an eccentric guy. He liked doing, I don't know. One guy was complaining that he put too much sugar in his coffee, which didn't seem too bad. But at some point, what did I put here? Oh yeah, so at some point when he saw that he might, originally they didn't want him to direct, they just wanted his script, and so he was kind of worried that he was going to lose control of the film. So he went to go see a witch doctor who he feels put a hex on the film so it could get back into his control. He was
Weird stuff.
Yeah, he was that kind of guy. And I have to say, like, when I watched the documentary, I thought like it was going to really solidify that this guy should have done the whole movie. If they would have just given him the movie, it probably would have turned out to be great. But I came away from it feeling that wouldn't be the case. He did seem to be in over his head. One guy said, like, if they kept the budget to like an $8 million film and he was just working with his crew, it probably would have been okay. And I'm like, yeah, I could see that. But the fact that they made it into this big Hollywood production with big A-list stars and a lot of pressure to make this movie great, like, he was making a lot of mistakes at the beginning that I know that why do I keep blanking on his name? The director.
John Frankenheimer.
John Frankenheimer. I'm going to write that down so I remember it. John Frankenheimer came in and basically said, like, their shooting location was all wrong, right? Like, the guy wanted mountains in the background or this one mountain in the background, but where they were, the mountain was too close. Like, you couldn't see it from anywhere where they were shooting. You had to like dig down into the ground and put the camera like super low to get the mountain into frame. And then another guy was pointing out how on the map, they shot it in Australia, in like the northern part of Australia. He showed like the amount of rain that this one place gets, and he was showing like how like there was all like these, it was all color coded, and green represented a certain amount of rain, kept going darker and darker and darker until like the darkest spot was like this little dot on the Australian map, which meant the most amount of rain, and that's where they shot the movie, was on this little dot. So yeah, he was making those kind of mistakes, which I could kind of see. Plus, Brando was being a pain in the ass. Val Kilmer was being a pain in the ass. This guy wasn't going to get them on board. He wasn't going to get them in line to shoot this movie. So I could kind of see why he was let go.
I still think it probably would have been a better movie, though. I mean, it's hard to think that it could have been worse. And as
Yeah,
for all his eccentricness, his quirkiness and oddness, I liked him. He was well spoken. He was weird for sure, but at least he kind of knew what he wanted, and he was an artist, and I kind of appreciated that about him. Unlike this new director that came in that was just grumbly and mean and old school. This guy was kind of somewhat introverted, weird guy, but he was more of an artist, I think. And I don't know. He definitely would have had struggles because he definitely had a hard time with going from low budget films to this big budget with major stars and producers watching over him and traveling and all this stuff and time schedules. Yeah, he was not handling it well. But yeah, I don't think it
yeah.
could have been worse than it was.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I overall, maybe it's because I watched the documentary first. I didn't think the film was that horrible. It wasn't very good, but it wasn't like completely, like what's going on? I can't follow this. There was a clear through line, and you got to, a lot of that goes to the original author. You got to go to H.G. Wells. So he put together something that was, interesting. And then the Stanley guy, he had his vision for it. But yeah, it's really nice to be able to watch something like this because it's very easy to dismiss something. Say, that sucked. What's wrong with this? But when you see all the different reasons why it turns out the way it does, at least you could be a little forgiving.
Yeah.
Costumes look good. Makeup was
Costumes,
nice.
that was one of the to
Yep.
me, that was where the costume effects, Stan Winston, those were fun to look at. Some of them were kind of cheesy, but some of them were really good. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it for sure. Especially, I'm assuming it was Ron Perlman who played the hyena.
No.
No,
Oh, it
it
wasn't.
was I was confused at first
Me
because
too.
I could have sworn I heard his voice from he had a weird name, the priest of the
Yeah.
animals, the sayer of the truth or something like that.
Right, yeah.
But I could have sworn I heard his voice, but then the hyena, I thought I saw his chin.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I thought
Uh,
it looked like Ron Perlman a little bit.
and he had higher billing, and that character had much more screen time. So I was like, "Oh, is that
So
him?"
that wasn't Ron Perlman. Okay, I just
No.
assumed. But anyway, his creature effects were great. Lots of close-ups, lots of him talking with you can tell it was a mechanical mouth, inner, kind of with his own jaw. It was very well done. That was fun to watch. And there was one shot in particular that I thought was really good towards the end when there was the big explosion and then the hyena was like kind of howling in the foreground as like a silhouette with you had to time that thing just right because you got like one
Hmm.
shot at that. It was a really cool shot, but that's about it for me that I think went well. The creature effects in that one shot, but I thought the movie was really bad. I thought it was I think I get what you're saying, Richard. I think it was it had you could tell it was a professional production, had helicopter shots, had establishing shots, had scale to it to some degree. But right off the bat, I thought it was just boring and a mess and disjointed. And my first thought is when I'm watching it, watching the actors, I'm like, where's the director? This is directionless. The actors are kind of like, I kind of almost could tell they were just making it up as they went. And sure enough, after watching the film and watching the documentary, that's a lot of what was going on. And I kind
Yeah.
of thought that where's the director in this? It was very poorly directed, I thought. But I when I first started watching the documentary, I assumed that sort of like the Superman situation, that the first guy was going to had started the film and then he got kicked off halfway through. But no, he never even started directing at all. He never got that far. And Frankenheimer came in and directed the entire film. But
Mm.
I thought, based on what I was seeing in the film, that it seemed like there was no director at all almost, that's what I was going to expect to see. But that's not how it played out. But I
Well,
thought, look,
yeah,
go
sorry.
ahead.
It's just nobody had the ability to say no to Brando.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
and then even
Yeah.
Kilmer, he had a certain amount of clout.
Yeah.
Again, this was like right after. It's hard to believe. Like this is right after Batman Forever,
Batman. Yeah.
and you think about how cheesy that movie is, and
Yeah.
how much ego Kilmer had off of that. It's like your
For
big
sure.
line was, "I'll get drive through." It's like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, you have to remember too. You had Willow, you had Top Gun. I mean, you had a lot of stuff before that
He
too.
was
The
in a lot of
Doors.
big hits and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
The Doors, that was like
The
his
Doors, yeah,
huge huge hit for him.
and the one comedy. What was it? Top Secret,
Yeah.
Top
the
Secret
spoof
is
comedy.
great.
It's a
Yeah.
good movie. Yeah,
I just want to say that Frankenheimer is like he was around for a long time, since the 60s. He has directed a lot of great films in the past, like The Manchurian Candidate, the original 62 version is his film. I mean, he did Ronin. What's that other one that he did? Grand Prix. That was actually not a bad film.
He did
but
French Connection too.
The French Connection too. He was also known as the guy that you would get to come in and save a film. Like he was the kind of guy that would crack the whip and get everybody into line. So I could definitely see why they grabbed him. And you know, from the financiers, the producers of the film, who are just getting you know, reports of what's happening in Australia while they're in LA, and they're getting like, your star Rob Morrow doesn't want to do the film anymore, and this is over budget, and this is over budget, and this is bad. You know, I could kind of see why they wanted somebody to go in there and crack the whip.
It's like, we're about to lose all of our money, so
right,
do something.
Right, because they already had invested a lot of money into it. They had built all those sets, and then they were a lot of them were ruined by the storm, because they picked a, you know, horrible place to shoot. You know, and I gotta say,
this is New Line Cinema. They were not a big player at the time they were making this movie.
They were making
they were
Ninja
big off of
Turtles
Nightmare on Elm
and-
Street and
right,
Ninja Turtles.
yeah,
This was before Lord of the Rings.
They were kind of like the $40 games, you know. Yeah, they're not the big budget AAA, but just those mid, not indie, but right in the middle. That was their thing. Oh damn, I can't remember what I was going to say.
Well, I'll say that what they like you said, Kevin, they midway through, when the thing was falling apart, they did, is in a sense, save the film, because at that point they were like, we just want to get something put together so we don't lose everything, and they did it. They put a film, like the guy said in the documentary, with the beginning, a middle, and an end, and they put it out. So it was a flop. It lost money, but they could have lost a lot more if they shut the whole thing down or never got it pulled off. So
right
at midpoint through, that was their mission, and I guess that director was the right guy, because he did, I guess, kind of pull on the reins and get everything under control to some degree. Didn't make it a good movie, but it got into the theater and made some money.
Well, the reasoning why he signed on for this film is A, he wanted to work with Brando, and B, his more recent films were not successful, so this was kind of a way for him to try to get like a AAA home run into the theaters. You guys were talking about the makeup before. I just wanted to mention a couple of things about the makeup, which I thought was great too. This was like early CG, so they were not ready to rely on CG yet. So there's a ton of practical effects in the movie, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
Because the CG effects that do appear once in a while look terrible, but all the practical effects did look great. Like I thought, like it I mean, for the 1990s, you know, I thought it was like a step up from the original Planet of the Apes movies. Like a lot of the makeup of that was giving me that kind of vibe, with the prosthetics over the face, and a lot more animation in the mouths and stuff. So I thought that was great. And I gotta say, the part of the documentary that made me the most, like, that just kind of hit me in the gut a little bit, like it made me feel really bad, was when the makeup guys were talking about how the scheduling in that was so terrible, like so off, that they would spend hours putting makeup on the background crews and all that, and then the main actors and that, only to have like Brando and Val Kilmer have a pissing contest on who's going to come out of the trailer first. And they would lose a whole day of shooting. So they would spend all that time applying all that great makeup in that, knowing that, because this was happening so often, that they might not even be on camera, but they there's a chance that they might be. So they'd have to do like the best job they could possibly do, and just do that over and over again.
Yeah, that's terrible.
It's awful to put people through that. I can't.
The one bright spot of that is when they were interviewing some of the background extras and stuff, they were saying, "Hey, but you know what? We're hanging out for all these months. We get a daily per diem, which was pretty nice, and they're hanging out and buying slot cars and just partying." And I was
Well, I
like,
was
"All
going to
right."
say too, it's funny that there's shots of them partying and half drunk in the costumes. Like, there was like these weird pig people like dancing around and like getting drunk and stuff. But it was this wild, footage.
Well, because they would put all that makeup on and then they wouldn't shoot anything, so you might as well get drunk while you're wearing all this stuff.
It is so odd though, because it really comes down to the egos involved, Brando and Kilmer, because neither of them wanted to be in the film. It was basically just, Kilmer showed up, said, "Look, I'm not happy with the script. I'm too busy. I got to get my shooting days cut down." So he was supposed to be the main guy, and then they switched him to the assistant to accommodate that. And Brando, well, he had like a tragedy beforehand. His daughter, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then. So like he didn't even. I think they were saying, he didn't read the script. He's just like, nothing matters. It doesn't. This is stupid.
He's very
trash.
loose.
Yet they both have demands over. Well, no, we should do the scene this way, or this isn't gonna. I don't have faith in how you're gonna shoot it. Let's do it this way, and just it's like you don't even want to be here. You're getting paid millions just to sit around and say the lines that are there. Like, can you at least cooperate and just do what's on the page? Like, no.
Yeah, let's get into Brando coming on screen for the first time. So yeah, I think we left you with the main character. He's trapped on the island. Val Kilmer traps him on the island in his room. He escapes. He meets the Panther lady and kind of talks to her. She's going through a transition. By the end of the film, she's going to turn into more of a Panther, but at the beginning of the film, she's just the hot chick in the movie. But eventually we get to meet Marlon Brando. He comes out. I can't remember. They're out in the field or something like that. And Marlon Brando comes out in the field, and Marlon Brando, I don't know. It's hard for me to say that. I mean, he's crazy, but there was some genius, like method to his madness, I guess. Genius is too much of a word, but there was method to his madness. So he comes out in this like full like cheesecloth around his head and all around his body, really loose fitting white clothes, and then he's painted his entire face and head and hands and everything in white makeup and these big dark sunglasses. And the idea is that he is allergic to the sun. This is something that he just made up. It's not in the script, it's not in the book or anything. He just made this up, that my character is allergic to the sun and has to wear all this stuff in order to if he wants to go outside. And the reasoning for that is that he just didn't want to shoot that many scenes, and it was easy makeup to put on so that his stand-in could come in and do a lot of the scenes for him.
That's next level. That's next level hubris. I don't know if that's genius. It's
okay.
Obnoxious
hubris.
Pride is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
I could see the actor having input of like, hey, what if my character has this really distinct look? I want to stand out or something. Or the practical matter of, well, it's kind of hot. I wish I, were covered up or something, and put in your 2 cents that way. But
sure.
Yeah, I guess by then he kind of knew like, what's the easiest way for me to skip out on all those boring scenes where you don't really need me there.
Right. And I mean, he'd been on enough film shoots to know like what he wanted to do and what he didn't want to do.
Sure.
Yeah, it was clear that he was in a weird headspace. I almost feel like he was. I think some of the actors kind of alluded to this, that it was almost like he was just messing around. Like he was almost doing like a social experiment. Like, how much can I get away with here? I don't care about anything. Maybe because of the tragedy he just had. And he was at the end of his career, and
I'm just showing the makeup here for people.
To me, that doesn't. There's weird good and there's weird bad. To me, that's weird bad. That's just that does nothing for the film
Yeah.
except make you scratch your head. It's just bizarre. But
Well,
anyway, I think he was just like they said, just messing with everybody. Just didn't care and was just like,
Well,
I'm
this is a little bit of Brando's MO as well, right? It's not like this is something that was new for him. Like was notorious for having all of his lines written out for him on cue cards during The Godfather, and like Bobby Duvall would say, like he'd be doing a scene and he'd have like this huge cue card taped to him because it'd be the back of his head, and Brando is just reading off his chest his lines. And then my buddy Frank, he brings up this example all the time. In the original Superman film, where Marlon Brando plays Jor-El's father, also known as Superman's father, he didn't want to be on screen. They were paying him $1 million at the time to be in the movie, which in 1978 was a huge amount of money. It still is a huge amount of money, but we're talking 78. So he didn't want to be on screen for that $1 million. So he just wanted to do voiceover. And the director, Richard Donner, was like, you got to be on screen. And he would tell Richard Donner, look, nobody knows what Superman's dad looks like. Just put a suitcase there and just say that's Superman's dad. And I'll do a voiceover. So
well, I didn't know this about Brando because I had never looked him up or anything. But apparently this was his outlook on acting. Here's a quote. Acting is just making faces. It's not a serious profession. Acting is not a profession that I have any great respect for. It's something I do, but it's not something I think is particularly noble.
That's insane.
So as much as people, put him up on this pedestal, he just never saw it. He's like, well,
I kind of agree with him. I do kind of agree with him. Like, if you think about it, like we put way too much. I mean, here we are on a podcast that talks about movies and video games and stuff, but we do put those people up on a pedestal a little too much when there are people that are doing like real work, like scientists and stuff like that are doing the real stuff. Like who comes up with I'm
in the middle on that.
I think that to play devil's advocate in the realm of art, like a great painter, a great singer, a great actor, they're all the same to me. And when I watch somebody perform well, it's I get chills. It's something I enjoy. It's something I appreciate. Something I want to applaud and celebrate. So him to say that to me is obnoxious. I don't agree with that take at all. That's a terrible take on acting. Acting is something to be admired, just like a great singer. Now, we shouldn't hold them up as better people, and our country, especially the West, has a tendency, to celebrate them as if they're gods, and I don't agree with that.
That's what I mean.
I agree with that. Yeah, but to say that it's not a big deal or it's nothing to celebrate, I don't agree. I think all of those talents are fun to celebrate and appreciate, and even aspire to sometimes and be inspired by. So I enjoy watching a phenomenal actor perform. I think it's something that should be applauded and celebrated.
It's kind of the line between, are you celebrating the actor or are you celebrating the celebrity? And that's kind of where it hits that extreme level.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. I'm a fan of the arts as well. I think that the arts, especially in education, gets thrown by the wayside when it shouldn't, because you look at Leonardo da Vinci, right? One of the greatest minds who ever lived. He was a scientist and he was an artist. You need art in order to spark imagination. Like, how much technology have we got over the last few decades because of something like Star Trek? Star Trek didn't invent the communicator, but it definitely put the imagination in people's minds. How can we communicate over a long, a far distance or whatever, so I do believe that there's that. But, when you watch something like the Academy Awards and they're really like, they're really like,
two different things. Yeah.
And then, so scientists don't get that accolades, but they get, they do get some compensation, but then like lower artists don't get any compensation. So it just seems like there should be like a balance, you know what? Nobody gets any money. I'm a socialist now. Everybody just gets one paycheck. It doesn't matter what you do, as long as you do it. There you go. Okay.
Well, if you look at the film from that perspective, and you look at Brando and how he is basically the god of that island, there's a little bit of that you could read into it. This guy is just put up a little too high for his own good, and he pays for it.
Yeah, there was a great quote from the I won't say the original film, but I think the 1932 film with Charles Lawton, and one of his lines in the film is, oh geez, what is it? Do you know what it's like to feel like God? And that line actually back then created a huge controversy, right? Because they thought that was blasphemous, right? But it was really just to show how much the guy thought of him. So he was a megalomaniac in that. So, that theme of that character thinking of himself as God, I don't know. Yeah, maybe like Brando was a method actor, so maybe that's what he was tapping into when he tried to take over.
It sounds like he may not have been an actor at all this time. Just reading cue cards and making faces. I mean,
yeah,
was he even an actor all this time?
Good at making faces.
I mean, I will say, like, when Brando was sitting there and he actually put a little bit of effort into it and he wasn't mumbling his lines, he came off as believable as this really wacky character that I don't think many other actors could do. Duke is rolling his eyes at me right now because
I thought his performance was horrible. It was mumbly, and
it was mumbly.
It was weird stammering, and like, just, you could tell he was just making things up as he went along. I thought it was hard to watch. I'm not saying the guy, he's got some talent for sure, but this film did not display that to me.
It's not like the greatest performance, but he sure does have presence. He does know how to hold the scene and be the center and play off of other people. So if he had any ambition to actually try in that role, it could have been.
It may have been
really
his
good.
400-pound weight and the white paint that made him hold the scene and stand out.
You got a point there.
Like that scene where he comes in with all the white stuff on, that stuff was terrible. There was a lot of stuff that he was doing, but like that, I think the one scene where he was actually, that seemed like he put a little bit of effort in, is when the animals were taking over the island and he tries to sit them down and play the piano for them to kind of like show them a little bit of his humanity. And that scene, there was a little bit that kind of worked there. And it makes me wonder if that was like throughout the whole film, it might have been, it might have helped a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, there's probably a lot of lost potential with what that could have been. A little more of depth to that kind of theme, I guess, but it just ended up being very shallow to me.
Yeah,
the whole father of the island and the god kind of metaphor, I think, was just barely on the surface. It could have been a lot more thought out, I think, as far as the script goes.
Well, it's an odd thing because as much as we're saying, like, if he tried harder and they did this with him, he really shouldn't have been the focus at all. It should have been on the guy that we can't remember the name of, because he was supposed to be our anchor. He's the guy we're following and we're supposed to feel with and struggle with. But he's pushed to the background for so many scenes that he doesn't come across as the protagonist. He's like, we need Luke Skywalker. We got to follow him. But
and like you said, Richard,
focusing on Boba Fett.
He couldn't. I love the Star Wars references. Thank you. We had a couple Star Trek.
That was all for you.
Let's get more Star Wars in there.
More Star Trek.
But
okay.
yeah, he couldn't carry the film. He was such a weak, I think, actor. I think he gained. I think he got better. I think he was known to be a fairly good actor later on, but this might have been one of his earlier roles. But again, like I said before, his posture and mannerisms and all were very bizarre and made him seem like he was trying to act drunk or something. I just couldn't get under. I couldn't understand
there
what he was
was
trying
something
to do.
in there. I'm wondering, because when I went to watch the film, I was so happy when I saw 138 minutes. Great, sold. But it feels like the movie should have been a little bit longer. It does feel like it was cut down. Like a lot of scenes end too quickly. There's not that, the audience should, be able to linger in this moment a little bit more. But it feels like it might have been cut short. And there was a lot going on with narcotics. Like when he's first on the boat and Val Kilmer's character is treating him, you think he's a doctor, which he kind of has a medical background, but it's revealed that he's really just drugging him. And he, whatever it's tranquilizers or narcotics or whatever. So I think maybe part of his performance was supposed to be that he's
I didn't
been
think about that. That is a good
doped up
point.
during the his stay on the island, but it's unclear. So I don't know if stuff was cut out or
Yeah, that's a good point.
downplayed.
But even that being said, there was a scene, for example, where he tries to get the radio to work, and he's trying to display this moment of rage, and it's
Yes.
just so cheesy.
Yeah.
Like, ah! And just kind of like throws something and like puts his hands in his head and kind of like it's just very cheesy, for lack of a better word.
It was not executed very well, for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. There's a lot of crazy Brando stuff here, and I see we're at 50 minutes in already. So I got to get to some more crazy Brando stuff. Did you guys notice that Brando was wearing hearing aids?
I did not.
No, but
No.
I didn't, but I heard about it. I was watching it on a very low quality.
Yeah, bastard. Yeah, he was wearing hearing aids to get his lines read to him. It wasn't because he was an old man and needed to hear. And apparently, the other actors were saying that he, like Sarah pointed out right away. She's like, he's got hearing aids. I'm like, I had to rewind it and hold.
I never noticed that. Wow.
Yeah, she picked up on it right away. But yeah, he had the lines being read to him by one of his assistants. And apparently he started getting angry at her because she started to act like she just wasn't like robotically delivering the lines to him. She started to emote and he would get mad at her for that. So there was that part. There was a guy that was hired. His role in the film was to be the doctor's number one son. He was supposed to be in a lot of scenes with Marlon Brando. He had like this huge part in the film. And he was a German actor. And according to the documentary, Marlon Brando, started speaking to him in German. And the German actor was like, I don't understand a thing he's saying. He's not really speaking German. And so like Brando would turn to somebody beside him, and whether they had actually understood him or they were just kind of placating to him, they said, oh yeah, you're saying this, that, and the other. And Brando would be like, yeah. So he didn't hit it off with that guy at all because the guy called him out on pretending to know German. So that guy ended up having a much smaller role in the film. And the guy who had a huge role in the film, the smallest guy in the world, ended up having a huge role in the film, and went on to inspire one of the greatest pulp culture characters, Mini-Me.
Yeah, who knew?
Yeah, I mean, it's plain as day when you watch the movie because he was at the time or still the smallest man in the world, Nelson de la Rosa.
I'm not sure if he's still alive. You can't. He was like 17.
Well, I mean, I don't know if there's anyone who is smaller. I don't know if he still holds the record.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
But yeah, it's every scene he's in with Brando, they're in matching costumes. Exactly like Dr. Evil and Mini-Me. And he doesn't speak. He just kind of is his little servant who you're putting up every one of these pictures. And I can't help but think that these are outtakes from an Austin Powers film.
But they are not. And
what was Austin Powers? 98, 99, something like that?
Yeah.
It was like right after this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never knew that. That's funny.
No, it's kind of I don't want to say the word genius, but there's like madness there. There's like method to the, like, a writer who has all of their scruples would sit down in front of the keyboard and start typing into a word processor. Okay, the bad guy has a little guy that dresses up like him, and he just orders the little guy around to do things and that and get him stuff and all that. And that just sounds stupid. That sounds so corny. Nobody in their right mind would think that is real. I'm going to erase that.
Then Brando comes up with this thing, and it becomes a thing.
I don't disagree, because I think for me, like, to me, that little person had screen presence, not just because he looked weird and he was like a freak or whatever. He just had screen presence. The part of it was the makeup effect. He had makeup on as well.
Yes,
but you wanted to see him more. At least I did. I thought it was, especially the comparison next to Brando. So maybe he did have some, like, this is going to work for the screen. Like, this is going to, and I think he was right there. I think that there was something intriguing about that dynamic, and especially them dressing together. That's kind of weird. So I think maybe
playing the piano.
Yeah,
that plays a normal piano. He plays a little piano. Like, that's just
yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like a normal person wouldn't come up with something like that. You need a crazy person like Marlon Brando to come up with something like that. And I do agree. It does work. It's creepy. It's weird. It adds this whole extra element to it.
Yeah.
It's like I said, like, if you wrote it down, you'd erase it right away. It's like, that was stupid. But Brando was like, no, this is gonna work. And it does on some,
it kind of does. You're right.
On some level. It's just, yeah. Okay, so I think those are the other two Brando things I needed. Oh wait, no, there is one more Brando thing I need to get to, and just one more. I promise, Richard, one more.
I was just gonna say, I think you guys appreciated that more than I did. For me,
you didn't like the mini guy.
It's straight up comedy. I mean, they didn't overuse him too much. The fact that he doesn't have like his own scenes and stuff, it really does remind me, though. There's a lot of grandmas and grandpas or middle-aged people around here that have those little, like, they get dogs, but dogs that they carry around in their arms, and they,
oh my gosh,
treat them like they're little children.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I get from that, because the whole thing is he's the father of the island and he's creating all these animals. He doesn't really seem to have any sort of depthful relationship with anyone outside of his immediate family. Like, he's got those chosen few that can stay in his house. Everyone else is out in the wild, and he just shocks them every time they misbehave. So it's like, showing that, having that sort of connection is like, all right, we're getting some attachment from him, but for the most part, it seems like he just disregarded everyone else. Like, as much as he went off talking about, yeah, we have these laws and everyone respects each other, it's like, man, he's ready to zap them at any moment.
Yeah.
Okay, I got one more craziness. This is going to be visual. I'm going to put up an image here, and don't worry, we'll describe it if you're just listening. But I really want to get a reaction, what you guys thought of this scene.
Yeah.
Makes me laugh.
Okay.
Oh boy.
So there is a point in this film where Marlon Brando, he has this thing where his character is overly hot for some reason. And he decided that the best thing to do to cool down was to put on this ice bucket hat and have his daughter put chunks of ice into
Where did the ice come from is my question.
Well, they had electricity.
Yeah, they did have a generator, so they must have been able to make
Maybe
ice.
they got the Doc Brown ice maker from Back to the Future 3.
Well, when I saw the scene in the film, I was like, that's just weird. And then I think when I saw the documentary, I believe, I could be wrong, but I think this was one of those instances where he was like, let me see if this will make it into the film. I'm going to do some weird thing because I'm Marlon Brando. I'm just going to mess with these people, and I want an ice bucket on my head. That's almost like a joke. Like, was he just seeing if he could get away with it? And just, I kind of think that maybe that was part of what that scene was all about, because it's just weird. It doesn't have anything to do with the plot. Doesn't really build his character. It's just some weird thing that he keeps saying he's hot.
This is what I mean.
It doesn't really play into anything. It doesn't have any effect on anything else in the film. It's not like they use the ice bucket hat in a great getaway scene or something. It's like, we can use this thing that's been established. I kind of wish I had seen the movie first, because I knew that was coming, because it was talked about in the documentary. So it actually didn't bother me when it happened, just because I was like, I knew it was going to happen. I think I would have burst out laughing if I hadn't known that it
And
was coming.
I keep getting that. I keep hearing that actor saying he's messing with him, isn't he? And so I keep going
Yeah.
back to that because there's a little scene of dialogue, like exposition almost, where he's like, he starts talking about how hot he is. And I'm like, where is this going?
Yeah.
And it didn't go anywhere. He's just like, oh, I'm
Nope.
just this heat is just so miserable. I'm just so hot. I'm like, why does he keep saying how hot he? And it just goes nowhere. Maybe it was all just set up the ice bucket hat. Maybe that's the whole point. Was just so I can get an ice bucket hat scene in there as a joke. I mean, I don't know, but it's
It
crazy
could
or
be
genius or
because
maybe a little of both,
it's
but it's
it's
weird.
definitely unnecessary. It's
Yeah. I think it's kind of like what Duke's saying. Like Brando's just throwing stuff at the wall, see what stuck. And he didn't care. Obviously he
Yeah.
didn't care from what the other actors were saying about behind the scenes and all that. He just did not care at all whether
oh no,
stuff
I
made
mean
sense or not.
he doesn't read the script. He's not going to watch the movie or anything. It's just
No.
they're paying me to come here, and when I say things, they do it. So
Yeah. But when that came on, like that ice bucket, I'm like, is that a thing? Like, is that something that people do? Is that maybe some part of other culture or something like that?
I think that's his own thing.
Yeah, no, they
That's
made that hat just for him for this scene.
that's a Brandoism.
Mhm.
That's just all him.
Well, we're getting up to the warmer months soon, so you could try it out.
There you go. Yeah.
Now, I will say sometimes I will put ice in my hat when I'm
Oh yeah.
when I'm
Yeah.
running or
I've
something.
done that.
Yeah.
Those little ice packs, you just
Yeah.
stick them in there.
Yeah.
But you don't put a bucket on your
It's
head.
not a bucket. Yeah, that's
It's bucket.
little
It's buckety. It's
socially
bucketish.
unacceptable. A bucket hat, yeah, with ice in it.
It just looks more like a chimney.
I'm gonna put it up again. Let's see. How do I put this in? Full screen.
Well,
You get all
give
of
I give the actress credit for pouring ice in that thing without laughing. Like to
I
hold-
was I was curious because he often puts his head back. And
Yeah.
that was my entire focus when that is. Like, am I going to see any ice or water dribble out of there? I don't know. And she
Okay,
kept
so
a straight face, so good for her.
Yeah, she professional.
so I guess we can just talk about Val Kilmer on the movie for a little bit. Apparently he was just a prick to work with.
Sure.
He just didn't want to be there. Apparently that was his MO for a lot of movies. Apparently The Doors, there was a lot going on behind those scenes as well. So I don't know, maybe he was full of it as well.
It's amazing what pride will do. I mean, because it's one thing to be a little cocky. It's another thing to burn somebody with your cigarette because you're just bored. I mean, that's just mean. That's beyond cocky. That's just like, that's next level there.
So
I lost a lot
sociopathic.
of respect. Yeah. Lost a lot of respect for him hearing those types of stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently it was there was an actor who was, in makeup and everything doing his scene, and Val Kilmer's got a cigarette and he's just like burning the mutton chops on the guy's makeup or something.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think it was a cameraman. It wasn't an actor, it was a cameraman. Yeah, it was behind the scenes. He was like filming, and the guy was, been in the jungle for a couple of months or whatever and was all scraggly. He started burning his like hair with a cigarette while he was filming. That's just
not cool.
I'm sorry. That's not cool.
Yeah.
Another crazy.
Well, yeah, oh, sorry, I was just going to say, you might be mentioning this one, but at some point, some executive, someone had to go meet with him at lunch. And so he shows up and Val Kilmer's at the table and he says, I don't have a lot of time, so don't talk to me. Just listen. And he, basically says everything he has to say while the guy's just supposed to sit there and nod at him.
I'm going to try that one on Sarah. See what happens. But don't talk to me. Just listen.
It's sort of like those. You ever hear the stories of certain, whether it be a movie star or a singer, who does interviews and then says you can't look him in the eye? I find that sociopathic
weird
as well.
stuff.
That is real, because normal people could never get to that point. You have to have fame and pride get to your head to a level that I can't even understand to get to a point where you say you can't look at me in the eye. I mean, what is that? That is bizarre. That is psychology I don't even understand at that point.
I
And
can't remember if it was this documentary or something else I had watched recently where someone had it written in. Oh, I think it was. I was listening to something about Prince, and he had something in his contract like, I don't try chit chat with me. You can't, just try to like engage me in conversation, or I'll get you fired.
yeah, same thing. Well,
Yeah, there's kind of two sides to that story. I worked in television, and I worked on an entertainment show that would get a lot of celebrities into our building. And you would just be walking around, and then all of a sudden, like, for lack of a better example, the lead singer of Nickelback would walk by you. And there were some times where we had to sign like a waiver that we wouldn't bother somebody or whatever. Like when Tom Cruise came to our building, we had to like that we weren't going to linger in the halls or anything like that. And there is like a double, like, so basically the show itself that I worked for didn't want to bother the celebrity, right? Because they want them to have a good experience, and they only have them there for a certain amount of time, right? And you want their time to be in front of the camera doing the interview, and then they can get out. And there's a lot of people out there that just they have to be told not to bother them.
Yeah.
Right. Like they will come in and like, oh, hey, it's so and so. Yeah, I saw you in this movie and all that. And they will tie up all their time. And then the celebrity has to stand there and be, cordial. Or if he walks off and says, I don't have time for you, he's an asshole. And suddenly the person's typing on their blog how much Tom Cruise was an asshole to them in the thing. So there is a little bit of a double.
of course, that's different. That has to be managed. I mean, that is absolutely something that's a real thing. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So like, it wouldn't be coming from the celebrity; it'd be coming from the show itself. The show would say, "Don't bother so and so in the halls. Don't even look at them in the eyes." And then it comes back that that's what the celebrity wants. So I'm not saying that's the case 100% of the time. I'm sure there are celebrities that are like that, but I think that a lot of times that stuff happens and it kind of gets a little like from behind the scenes myself, even running into one of them in the washroom or whatever, like you just don't bother them. You're professional, you're at work, you just leave them alone. But there are some people that just really struggle with that. They're just
Well, yeah, and again, from the company's perspective, it's like how many employees are not doing their job right now because they're all standing
right. They're trying to run into
this person.
I tell you, like half the time I wouldn't even know, right? I'd just be walking by, and then Anne Murray's like walking by me. I'm like, is that Anne Murray? She seems a little short to me, but whatever. But that would happen to me because I just wasn't paying attention. But then there were other people that knew that so and so is coming in this day, and they would just kind of like, let's hang out in the hall and talk to the security guard that I never talked to, right? Because they know that they're coming in this entrance or whatever,
Well, the one instance I was thinking of when I brought that up was I just recently heard this was an interviewer interviewing I think it was a famous guitarist, and he didn't mention who it was. He wasn't going to disclose that.
It's probably Prince,
but it might have been Prince, or it was a famous guitarist or singer, and the guitarist or singer's representative or agent or whatever was like, okay, well, here are the rules. And the interviewer was like, what are you talking about? He's like, you can't look him in the eye. He has to speak first. You can't speak first. Like all these weird rules. It was just the two of them. So it wasn't a situation like you're describing, Kevin, where yes, you got to manage their time. You got to understand you can't be bothered, blah, blah, blah. This was like someone's like personal rules of how to be spoken to. And I'm like, that's just bizarre.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when they're terrible to the interviewer who's just trying to do a job as well, sometimes things get, mistaken and all that stuff. But anyways,
Ryan wrote in here that Bruce Springsteen does that. Don't look him in the eye.
I think Ellen DeGeneres had that rule when it came out, when she had her falling out with got canceled or whatever. People were saying, yeah, you couldn't look her in the eye.
Yeah,
she had a rule.
Yeah, I mean, I've had that as well, where like the people who work there don't want you bothering them. But I kind of get it. They just don't. They need to go from point A to point B, and they don't want to have to talk to 5 people on their way there. Some people are really good about that. Some people are not. Some people are, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, it's a broad spectrum, Some people do it as we got to get work done, and then you got Val Kilmer here, who by the way, from the beginning, his performance at the very beginning of the film, I did say maybe the first scene he was fine, but then when they're on the island, he had some weird delivery. I know
Yeah.
he's supposed to be kind of this like laid back and
Hippie guy kind
you
of
know,
thing.
kind of yeah, kind of hippie and kind of like fed up with the situation, but I don't know. It
It's
didn't
a
It was
weird
a
feel like there
character.
was
weird. It
Yeah.
was a
much
weird
going on there.
direction. It was a weird direction because he he doesn't make you feel like at no point did I feel like, oh, this guy is like he needed to be psychotic and in on it as well. You got to be in on the plan, right? You can't be just laissez-faire about it and just not really care, because if you don't care, then why should I care, you know? Like he's trying to be intimidating, but like this cool guy that just kind of sits back and smokes at the same time, and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
And
But
yeah, the whole thing of, I mean, getting into spoilers again, halfway through the film, the animals turn on Dr. Moreau and they kill him, which I didn't see coming in that particular moment. So I was like, hey, that was effective for me. But then Val Kilmer kind of adopts Moreau's persona.
that was weird. Yeah.
At first, he's doing it like in a mocking way
Yeah.
when he's talking to the castaway guy, but then later on, it feels like he is trying to become their god, and it just like none of that ever made sense to me. Of like, was this something he was pursuing? He felt like he was against this. Why is he embracing it? Is it just a matter of personal survival? It's all unclear. There's nothing in there to
Very
suggest that he
unclear.
was looking for that sort of position.
Yeah.
Also, another weird scene is sort of similar is when Brando, or Dr. Moreau, I guess I should say, in the beginning of the film when he first made his appearance, told Val Kilmer's character to hand over the gun to the main character, and Val Kilmer just obeyed
Yeah.
him. It's like, well, why does he have this power? He never was established as this like tyrant or this like Godfather type character.
Well, he did
was
have
just
the medallion thing that could control the animals, right? Because they had
yes,
the
right.
shock thing. But yeah, Val Kilmer didn't have that in him. So
why did Val Kilmer just bow to him as a subordinate? It never really fully explained all that.
yeah,
It's not
So it
clear
was
their
just
relationship.
no.
yeah. By that point of the film, like everything had just completely unraveled for me. I did not understand anything that made any sense anymore. Like the main character after Dr. Moreau is shot and killed, I didn't understand why the main character wasn't trying to get the hell out of there. Why is he hanging out there? What's he doing? I understand that he tried to get on the boat earlier, and there was some rats that could walk on their hind legs, and that kind of freaked them out. But I'd still would try to they're just rats, like kick them away or something like that. I would try to get that boat,
or maybe
moving.
use that gun that you have.
Yeah, or something. I'd be doing something or fix the radio. I mean, the guy just threw Val Kilmer just threw the board, the circuit board out the window. Like go out the window and find the circuit board and put it back in. And
yeah, there's nothing
the radio on.
preventing you from trying. It's not like the animals are, intimidating
they don't care.
you.
They didn't seem to really care about him at all. So why are you now? Eventually, the animals do burn up the boat. So I got that part. Like, okay, that avenue is closed. But yeah. And even at the end of the film, like he builds like this terrible raft that wouldn't even Tom Hanks couldn't get off the island with that stupid raft, right? Like, why wasn't he like again? He didn't try to turn on the radio or something like that, or do something.
Well, the movie started out with plot holes to me because right off the bat, the opening scene with them in the raft. Okay, you got three guys on this raft. Two of them apparently are fighting over the last drop of water, right? Or a canteen of water.
Yeah.
So they've got to be like half dead. Why are they wasting all this energy trying to kill each other? And they're beating each other up and I'm like they wouldn't have the energy for that.
Well, that worked for me thematically because the whole thing is about animalistic nature and
well, that's another point I was getting to. It was kind of like supposed to be this deep. I thought that was going to come back. I thought maybe those two guys are going to be found on the island as well or something. But it just ended there, and I thought, is that supposed to be some like deep metaphor about how we're really the animals? It was a little on the nose if that's what they were trying to go for. It's just a weird scene, but they wouldn't have had the energy or the wherewithal to be trying to kill each other, murder each other over a drop of water. It just was silly to me.
I think the theme of the movie was supposed to be about laws and how laws keep us as a society keep us civilized.
I think like that because that's partly what the book was about. Because you notice that they kept coming up about laws, right? And the Ron Perlman priest guy, he was like the priest of laws or something, or the priest of I don't know. They had to like continuously go to him to make sure that laws were still in effect, right? So if they had their laws, then they could stay within that society. So then once the doctor was murdered, and then the anarchists basically who wanted to take over the island, they just wanted to get rid of the laws, so they got rid of the priests, and then everything went into anarchy, and then the island started blowing up, and that was pretty much the end of the film. So I think that's what they were trying to go for. That might have been one of the many strands that this movie.
Well,
again,
there's you basically would have to go back to the original script and see like what was on paper, what was the original plan, and how much of that got gutted and how much of that was replaced by ice bucket hats and mini me's and all that. So it's hard to tell. Although when I was looking up to see if I could wrangle a copy of this film last minute, I did go on to a like an eBay type site just out of curiosity because I knew it wouldn't get here in time. But apparently somebody has the shooting script for sale on a local website. It's quite expensive, so I won't be purchasing it, but it is a curiosity that I'd love to read. But
you might be able to just snag a version of it.
There's probably
online.
a download.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
That'd be interesting, yeah.
And Ron Perlman's character, his name was Sayer the Law. I think you're definitely right about the law, because that is brought up a bunch by like Hyena. It was like something like no pain, no law, something like that.
Yeah, like that was definitely there was something about like anarchy and that. So like basically the thing that keeps us separate from the animals is our laws or something. I don't know. It was none of it landed. None of it was good. We're giving the movie too much credit, right? Like they went in so many directions and nothing really. You think they would figure it out by the end, but no, it wasn't.
I think what we need to do is the three of us sit down, we all read the book, and then we come back next month and say, "Oh, now I get it."
I think I'll be Moreau'd out.
I do want to read the novel. I've never read an H.G. Wells novel before, so I am curious. Like out of all the I do want to read The Time Machine as well, but I am curious about this one because I do like the fact that the movie kind of ends in the middle of the book, and then there's supposed to be like an allegory in it about the animals, and then once they lose their laws, I don't know. Anyways, I am curious about it.
I would like to get a hold of that song they played when that girl was dancing. That was a weird scene too, with the girl dancing.
Yeah.
Song was. Did you hear that music? Was bizarre.
Yeah. I think it was by the guy who did the soundtrack or the score. I think. I don't know because I did do a Shazam on it when it was playing, and Shazam didn't come up with anything, so that just might have been my Shazam, but I don't know.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird scene too, for sure.
One last thing I wanted to touch on before we wrap up the convo, or I'll send it over to you guys if you have anything to talk about. One thing I wanted to talk about was how the original director, so he was paid to do the movie. They kind of fired him, but they were still paying him. They had to pay him out. Right, yeah. So he was hanging out in Australia while the movie was going on.
Yeah,
and
this is great.
A lot of his friends were working on the film, and they would give him reports of what's going on and all that. And then eventually they came up with this idea that, hey, we'll put you in one of the animal makeups, and then you could come on and you could kind of figure out what was, like, you could kind of see what's happening. And so they did that. They put him on, like, and he ended up in a few scenes in the background. And some of the guys that were working on the movie that weren't in on it, like the one guy that was giving out the refreshments or whatever, like the actors would lift up their masks in order to drink, and it was very hot, right? And he noticed like this one guy, he refused to take off his mask, even though he's wearing this heavy latex stuff over his face in this very hot and humid area. And like when he would talk to him, he'd only like respond in like one word because he didn't want his voice recognized. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, and he had
Well,
an English accent, and nobody else had an English accent.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. That is the funniest part of this whole thing to me is this quirky director still lurking around in the background, and stories of him climbing up trees and not coming down, using witchcraft, and next thing you know, he's an extra in the background. I think that is hysterical.
Yeah,
and it's a huge gamble on his part because basically when he was fired, they told him if you come within 40 meters of this production, we're not going to pay you. So the whole thing was they brought him to the airport, said get on this airplane. They dropped him off, but they never saw him get on the plane. So he snuck around, and then people were searching for him. They had no idea what happened. And then suddenly they run into him. He's like,
see, I want this guy's
I'm going to
version.
lose all my money if I go near that production, but I kind of want to see what's going on. So
this is the guy I want to see make the movie. That's the kind of good crazy, I think.
I am curious about his earlier films now.
Yes.
I had never heard of this guy. So
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
Two independent films that got some traction, and Hardware and
Pistol,
like a Western.
Dirt Devil.
Yeah.
Dirt Devils.
Yeah. I written down here.
So those I'm very curious to see because I want to see
I
what
love
this
me
guy
a good
could
B
have
movie.
done.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wish that they would have just left him alone. Because he seemed to have like this promising career just making those, 10, $15 million budget movies, and he would have been just happy doing that and probably would have had about 20 films out by now. But instead, like this kind of soured him on the whole thing. He did eventually come out with some more films, but like within the last like 10 years or so. But so he was kind of out of the business for a good 15, almost 20 years before coming back.
I think that's such an interesting thing to delve into. Think about how many directors, especially, did so well as small independent directors, and when they hit it big, everything got worse and worse and worse. I can think of so many examples of that. I can think of one who actually did the opposite, and I think that would be Peter Jackson, who had a little bit of a following or I guess a niche crowd or audience for his independent films, and then he did very well with Lord of the Rings, obviously making one of the best trilogies probably ever. And very successful anyway, whether you like it or not, I don't know, but I mean he pulled it off very, very well. But that's essentially the last thing he did was Lord of the Rings with any.
Well, Sam Raimi too. He
Sam
got
Raimi, I
known
was going to
for
mention
these
him as
very
well.
low budget things. Then they give him a huge Hollywood budget, and hey, he knocked it out of the park with some of the Spider-Man movies.
Yes,
and a couple other things, but primarily it's like you have people that they're kind of in a comfort zone. Like, leave me alone, let me work, and this is what I do.
Yeah.
But oh no, we're gonna pay you more, but we're also gonna be over your shoulder every day saying, hey, how about this? No, do it like this.
Well, think of what's his name who did The Sixth Sense and all. I mean, his first movie, yeah. I mean, it just like a steady ladder of decline, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah. So, and then another one I had in mind. Well, I mean, this is not I really like the movie we watched and discussed this film, The Witch, with Robert Eggers. That was his first film essentially. And I love that film. I think you guys thought it was pretty good as well. And then he did after that The Lighthouse, I think, which I thought is a great film too, but a little bit not as good as The Witch. And then he did The Norseman, which I didn't see, but I heard that wasn't very good at all. And that was a bigger budget action kind of film, and I don't think it really hit. And then he did Nosferatu, which I did see, and I thought it was okay, but not great. So is he on that same trajectory as well, where his earlier independent, low budget films were fantastic, and then he gets the bigger budgets and the bigger actors, and he just doesn't have the same, I don't know, artistic.
Sometimes it might not be the budget. It might just be it's like they had this one thing they wanted to do for so long, and they make that first film, and it's like, wow, that came out really great. What do you got next? And they're like, well, okay. And then maybe the next one they're not as passionate, or it's not as
hungry artist thing is
and-
gone. Yeah.
Right. It might be something like that, but
Yeah.
I mean,
think so.
I mean, the benefit of doing what we just did, watching a film that didn't work and then watching a documentary explaining how it takes so many little miracles to, have something turn out well. And then all the little things that can be completely out of your control that end up making a film not work or become a disaster like this. It's like, it's not necessarily the director. It's not necessarily the budget. It's 100,000 other little things that could affect it.
Weather, everything,
Yeah.
It is interesting where they pull directors from. Like a guy makes a couple of music videos for MTV. So suddenly he's a huge director, or an author, like a writer, not Stephen King, but like Michael Crichton or something. Like they would pull from them, and suddenly or actors that make directors. Meanwhile, there's directors that have been doing television for decades of television, and they I don't know, when it comes to doing a big budget Hollywood film, they're just not tapped to do it, or sometimes they fail at it or whatever. It's just it's really interesting where, like, I don't know, directors are weird. I don't know, because like I think we've talked, Richard and I've talked about this before as well. Like we come from the generation of the director. Like we grew up with the Steven Spielberg and the Richard Donner and like those kind of guys, right? That have a
Kubrick,
vision,
right?
And they're like, these are their projects. They take them over. But if you look at directors before then, they were hired hands.
To
do a job for the studio, right? Like the producer, like, I want a story like this, and the director come in and say, okay, I can do that. I can lay that out and do it. Not all the time, but for the most part, that's what they were, So, and I still think that does happen today. So when you see a film, we just kind of like interject, like we kind of like assume that the director is the Spielberg of this movie, and sometimes that is the case, and other times it's not.
This is a fact. I talk about this all the time, this exact topic, because I think it's fascinating. And like you said, Kevin, coming out of our generation of the Kubricks and the Scorseses and the Coppolas, all the big the auteurs, if you will, the writer, they had the majority of the control. One of my favorites, Ridley Scott, who earlier, like Alien, that was his baby, that was his passion project. He was primarily in control. Yes, you had producers that had some say and could jostle things around, or whatever, we're putting up the money for this, so you got to do what we say. But they still kind of held back a little bit and trusted the artist for the most part back then. And usually that was the way to go, and that was the winning formula. You fast forward to today, and I think Hollywood is an absolute disaster. They're just hiring directors. The producers are more in control now. It's more of a business oriented thing, as opposed to an art driven thing. The art is missing.
That drives it. Like, like,
which is why we get nothing but redos, remakes, prequels, sequels. It's just it's so boring, and it's collapsing, in my opinion, because there's no risk anymore, because it's now driven by algorithms and money and all that stuff, and it's not driven by the passion and the love of art and film. It's okay to put out a passion project and put your heart into it, and you don't want it to fail, but it's still out there, and it's still your best work, and it's still a work of art, so to speak. You can't say that about the junk they put out today, in my opinion.
A lot of it.
Well, a lot of it is the committee, but it's also the audience. You kind of have to put some of the blame on the people who are willing to go to the movies, and you put out something that's thoughtful, maybe a little lower budget and creative, and it's not drawing the money that Fast and the Furious 17
there's
or the next Marvel movie.
There's so much competition for people's attention, right? So that's why we get sequel after sequel after sequel. We get established IPs made into films. We are also the generation that drive a lot of this stuff as well, because we were sold stuff as children. We were sold He-Man and Transformers and Ghostbusters and Star Wars, all those IPs. They were hammered into us as like, this is your thing. You love this stuff. Go buy the cereal. Go buy the blanket. Get the toys. All that stuff. Right? Whereas
basically
kids today,
everything that's behind you right now, Duke,
exactly. Yeah.
is a movie coming in the works. Right?
Hey, me too. I got my Atari here for Duke.
I see
and
that. I
my
love it.
Smokey
Yeah.
and the Bandit there. Actually, I got my copy of Sequest here, ready to go.
Oh,
Hey.
I'm ready.
I got
I'm
mine
gonna be
right
chasing.
here. Let me see. Oh, that's Frostbite. Where's Sequest? Anyway, I got it right here too. We'll compare copies because mine's
I believe
mine's
you.
a little all the Activision stuff is kind of like, you know, the labels.
Yeah,
What they call that Acta plaque or something where the
Right.
labels.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have Sequest, but I just happen to have a shoebox full of Atari
Oh,
games.
look
right
at
here,
that.
so
I
I'll
love
show
it.
that.
Great. What
Old
the heck were we
school.
talking about? We got sidetracked.
Writer,
We're
director.
talking about Atari, right?
I've got sidetracked pretty quick.
Damn, I had a good point to make too, and now I can't remember what the heck I was.
You were talking about everything being commercial, all
Sequels.
the IPs
Oh, yeah.
becoming movies.
Right. So so basically all these movie studios rely on us to go to the theater and bring our kids, because kids, like I tell you, they consume stuff once, right? They watch, like my sister's kids, they watched all He-Man. They watched it once. They're not watching reruns. They're not watching and it's done. They moved on to the next thing. So
Yeah.
they really rely on us to bring the kids into the movie theater, and it's got to be something that we know that will get our attention, something new. So the one film, I think we're done with Island of Dr. Monroe, right? We can just say that.
Well, we haven't seen that movie yet. We saw the Island of Dr. Moreau.
What did I say?
Monroe,
Monroe. I can't
Monroe.
pronounce that guy.
Is that the sequel?
That'll be the
Speaking of
sequel.
God damn it! That
Everybody
guy's
gets the name wrong anyway, so it's
Dr.
Monroe.
Moreau. Yeah, we're done with that. So yeah, don't go see it. Don't watch it. Just listen to us.
I somewhat disagree. I'd say watch it, but watch it with that documentary, and
Yeah,
get a
It
little
was
that's
insight.
interesting.
Yeah, if you are into film, I think you'll get something out of it for sure. But as a movie, like I was with you, Richard, for I'd say about the first 20 minutes, maybe a half hour, and then I was kind of just watching with interest in what the heck Brando was going to do next, because he just seemed to be so out there. And then I like just the last half of the movie, I was just like, just waiting for it to end. I'm like, there was just nothing keeping me invested in it at all. It took me like all my power not to touch my phone while I was watching it.
I just wanted to see the hyena guy. Not only was his makeup good, he was a good actor. Like he was moving good, and
I think
interesting to see him perform.
I think that actor passed away very shortly after the movie too.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I think he was only 31 when he passed away.
Oh, man.
But yeah, he was probably. I mean, he probably put in the best performance of the film. Like, I can't say he's the best actor because, I mean, honestly, if you do go back and watch On the Waterfront or Streetcar Named Desire, Brando's fantastic in those films. So I can't. But for this film, that guy definitely put in the best work, I think.
Yeah, he died in 97.
Wow.
Yeah, he was only 31. I didn't find out how or why, what the cause was, but
brain hemorrhage.
Oh, that sucks.
So just sudden thing.
Yeah, that really sucks. So yeah, anything else we want to say about
No, I think we covered it.
Okay.
No, I think we're good.
All right, good. So we were talking about the state of films and all that. The movie that's given me a little bit of hope, I actually went to the movie theater to see this. I read the book.
Really?
I had to rush through the book because my friend was like, I'm going to go see this movie on Monday. And I was like, I still had like 100 pages in the book. So I had to zip through it. But I went to the theater to see Project Hail Mary.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of the movie, Richard?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I have. That's the latest Ryan Johnson joint.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Johnson.
The director who did
No.
Isn't that Ryan Johnson?
No, I don't.
No.
Actually, I don't know who the director of that.
I don't think so. No.
Now you're making me look it up. If it was, it's the best movie he's ever directed. Let me tell you.
I do want to see it, and My son Bobby saw it and said it was fantastic, and I'm hearing lots of great things. And Bobby has good taste in movies, so
Oh yeah, it
I
was.
trust.
Oh, that's Lord and Miller.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the Lego movie guys.
I don't know
Yeah.
why I was thinking of him.
Yeah. So the book was fantastic.
That's what I hear
Excellent.
too.
It's written by Andy Weir, and he also wrote the Martian, and you know, they did an okay movie with that as well. But the great thing
Not as
about
good as
Andy,
Moon.
listen, Moon is fantastic. Okay.
Yes, it is.
The Martian is a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But the great thing about Andy Weir is that he really challenges the norms kind of thing. Like, you watch Project Hail Mary, there's no villain in the film. It's just something happens and the world has to come together and figure it out or not. And I really encourage people to read the novel as well, because the novel gets into a lot of science stuff and all that, and it's a fascinating read especially if you're into that.
That's
whole
good to know.
It's not in the movie, but like they even get into time dilation and everything. That if you know
Love
anything
it,
about
yeah.
Einstein's theory of relativity and
Yes.
E equals mc squared, all that stuff is in there.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's great. It even passed Neil deGrasse Tyson's smell test. He had absolutely nothing negative. Well, he did have a couple negative things to say about it, but nothing really.
Now I want to see this even more because I love that stuff.
Yeah. So so I saw the movie. It's like a new IP. There's nothing attached to it, and it's just a real, like, the movie is almost 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah, I heard it was long.
I was sitting in the theater. I'm watching this movie, and I have it in my head where we are in the story, and I'm like, how long have I been sitting here? And I looked down at my watch, and 2 hours just flew right by. It felt like I was sat there for like 15 minutes, maybe a half hour. So I really enjoyed that, and it kind of gave me hope that the success of this film might encourage more movies like this instead of the same stupid crap. I mean,
well, I mean, you still, it's still coming from another source. It's still like, well, it was a successful book, so, but at least it's a step closer to not. Well, it's not, at least not the same thing again.
Well, that I don't have a problem with.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't
Shining. That's been done for that's never been a problem for me. Taking a novel and adapting it to film, that has often worked great. Sometimes, you know, like The Shining again is a great Kubrick film, and that was adapted from a Stephen King book, and there's all kind of examples of that. So, but it's the repetitive IPs, another Alien movie, another. It's just
Terminator.
Yeah, please just stop.
Are you like fed up with Marvel movies as well? Are you kind of done
I've
with
been
them?
done with those. I haven't seen a Marvel movie since Endgame.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. It
done.
felt like I did watch a couple of the Spider-Man ones that came out after, and I thought they were
too,
I thought they were decent. But yeah, after Endgame, it was kind of like, okay, this seems like a good place to, like, if they would have stopped it there and given us like a 10-year gap, you know, and maybe bring it back again or something.
Take a little breather. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just they continue to crank out that stuff, and I
slop.
Couldn't
same old repetitive cookie cutter formulaic story that's just boring. It just you can see everything coming a mile away.
Yeah.
Same old quips and jokes, and I just does nothing for me anymore.
Like Richard's favorite thing, everyone's a smart ass in the movie. Everyone's got a snappy line of dialogue, and it's like, okay, it's been done. We've been here. We've been done that. Give me something new, you know? I seem to know how to
I'll
do
just
that.
remind everybody that I didn't watch the Marvel movies, and people had to force me to watch the first. What was it? Season Journey? But they had them like in, what do they call them?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Phases.
Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3.
Yes.
I will say, up until Endgame, I was there. I was having fun. And there did seem to be like some variation. You know, like an Iron Man film felt like an Iron Man film. Ant-Man felt like its own thing. Guardians of the Galaxy, they all had like a little different vibe and all that. But then it just seemed like once Endgame finished,
I agree.
I can't really say that. Like, I just haven't been interested in watching any of them. I just
bored of it.
Yeah, don't care.
Well,
Brian's checking in. He says he's still in on all the MCU. He wants the slop.
Well,
he'll take it.
I don't. It's sort of like they kind of predicted this years ago that it's going to be like the Western films where it's just oversaturation and people just are like, okay, we got it, we're done, move on.
But the Westerns that lasted for like this has been, I don't know, Iron Man came out in 2007. So we're getting that on like the 20-year mark, whereas Westerns was like, I don't know, dominated for about 50 years, but I think with Westerns, they came out with different stories, like a John Wayne film does not feel like a Gary Cooper film or whatever. They're like completely different things. The setting just happens to be the same. Whereas with, and then, you got the DC universe that just continuously tries to do the Marvel universe. Like they even get James Gunn. They get like the same people. Let's
Joss Whedon had switched over too. Yeah,
it's just all the same people doing the exact same thing, and I completely check out.
Well, they might be in the Brando situation where it's like, well, we're getting paid. Let's see what we can do.
Probably. I will say though, I am excited for Spaceballs too.
Yeah, me too.
Spaceballs,
as much as we've just been talking about same old thing. Yes, I saw the Mel Brooks thing about.
I know. I just did last night. I was cracking up.
Like, okay, at least he's coming at it from an interesting perspective.
But did
he direct the new one, or is he just producer?
I think he's just Yogurt. I don't think he's just really,
okay.
Yeah,
he's just the.
He's not even producing it. Isn't that his?
He might be a producer.
Right.
The guy's almost 100, man.
Oh yeah,
he's 99 years old. Yeah.
Wow. Cut him some slack. I can't remember the director.
A couple months ago they put out a teaser trailer. It was just the crawl, and I was cracking up just reading the crawl. It was. I'm like, this is gonna be good.
Yeah,
it's satire on modern day Star Wars, which I'm all about making fun of. So I can't wait to watch it.
I mean, they did give us a 40-year break between films as well, so you can't say the Spaceballs market has been oversaturated. And they're bringing back Rick Moranis and all that stuff. So
looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah, but you see, that's what they count on, right?
Year though, huh?
Yeah, I know it's way too long, but that's what they count. That's what they count on. This is the stuff that, like, if they were just. I don't know if they were coming out with another Mel Brooks movie, like, and it wasn't Spaceballs, would that create that much? Would we be excited about it? I don't know.
Probably not. No.
Yeah.
I'm very curious though. Have they gotten past the point where they're not allowed to make merchandise for Spaceballs? Because that was a Lucas thing way back when. Like, you're not allowed to produce any merchandise. But I'm very curious because this would be a huge cash cow for them.
Yeah, I really don't know.
What do you mean, Lucas? How did Lucas have any say in that?
When Mel Brooks made it, for some reason, I guess because it was a direct parody of Star Wars, Mel Brooks went to Lucas and said, "Hey, I'm making this spoof of your movie. Are you cool with that?" And he said, "Yeah, no problem, but you can't make any merchandise because it's too similar to what I'm selling, and I don't want people confusing Dark Helmet with Darth Vader or whatever." So he wasn't allowed to make any merchandise. That's why there's never been any Spaceballs toys, action figures.
Listen,
like that.
I may get Dr. Moreau's name wrong, Moreau's name wrong, but it is Lord Helmet. It is not Dark Helmet.
Lord Helmet.
Dark Helmet.
No, it's Lord Helmet. Maybe you're thinking of the Japanese version.
Oh, he's looking it up.
They call him Lord Helmet.
I can see the screen in his glasses. He's looking it up.
Here we go.
Lord Dark Helmet. That's his full
really?
name.
I never heard the Dark. I've only heard Lord
Dark Helmet. Dark Helmet was a villainous Spaceball who possessed the
I'm
downside
not going to claim
of
to remember that.
Listen, you are the only person I've ever heard call him Dark Helmet. I've heard nothing but
that's
Lord
his
Helmet.
name.
I understand.
Okay.
I understand that you're technically right.
Spaceballs is one of the movies that I have seen the most in my lifetime. I know his name is Dark Helmet. And then they
But
do call him Lord Helmet at times. Just like Lord Vader,
I don't think
Darth
I heard
Vader.
Dark Helmet. I think I only heard Lord Helmet.
Watch the movie. You claim to be a Spaceballs fan.
Oh man, this is fun.
All
Spicy.
right. Nah, there's no spice. We can't argue. Don't argue in front of the boner.
Boner. Maybe I'll be your boner.
I forgot all about boner. That's funny.
You bite a baby.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
We need some updates. Do you want to lay down a few fresh tracks, Duke?
No more tracking for Duke. That is a past version of myself.
He's given us so much. I mean, it's been too much. Okay, I don't know. What else do we want to talk about? We talked a little bit about the state of movies. Anything else going on?
Want to talk about Star Trek, Duke?
I know Duke
I don't know
does.
anything about Star Trek. You can guys talk amongst yourselves. I'll be watching.
I do have a little. If I could just say a little bit of something, Richard. Did you? I don't know if we talked about this, but did you hear that Starfleet Academy, the new Star Trek, has already been canceled?
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. Well, I heard that everything, like the current iteration of Star Trek, is done. Like they've finally stopped all production on everything they were doing, and it's changing hands. And there's apparently a new film in the works that is
maybe
not associated with Alex Kurtzman or J.J. Abrams or anyone there.
Yeah.
I don't know. The one thing that was surprising to me is I saw an announcement about that, and it said Starfleet Academy canceled after 2 seasons. Like, didn't it just come out? Did they really?
They already filmed them.
seasons
They already
already?
filmed it.
Oh,
They filmed the
okay.
second season ahead of time.
Yeah, I think it's Paramount Plus that it's on, and they greenlit the first season, and I guess they watched it on their own. They said, "Yeah, let's put out a second season because this is gonna go like gangbusters." And apparently,
am I safe to assume it was horrible?
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
I mean,
I'm asking Kevin. I assume you watched some of it.
I watched the pilot and I watched the second episode, and nothing like it. Just
I saw clips, and I just couldn't believe what I was saying. It was like for like teenagers or something. It was weird. It was like
it's like Dawson's Creek in space or something.
Listen,
it was really like
it's like everything now. They try to make it appeal to both levels, right? Like even like new Ghostbusters or whatever. They have the old crew there that's supposed to appeal to us, and then they got like a bunch of young kids that are supposed to appeal to your kids who are watching it with you, and this is how they're going to get like everybody.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't. You got to structure your business like McDonald's does, right? You think about McDonald's when we were a kid. You go in there was the play place, and you sat on Mayor McCheese's face. He was on the stools and all that stuff, and it looked like a place for kids, right? Now you go into McDonald's and it's like a cool coffee house. You go in there, you get your coffee, you get the, whatever. They might have the ball bin off in the corner at the older McDonald's, but they kept changing their style to keep up with us, right? As we got older, right. McDonald's that's what you got to do with all these shows and all these movies. Just keep keep it coming with.
I didn't see it, and I did see one thing. I believe it was a post by Vintage, with one of his rare posts, and it was like something that it had like actual quotes that were in the show, and it was just all these really cringy lines of dialogue, a whole lot of swearing, and a lot of like
they did a lot of swearing,
snarky, retaliatory kind of comments. Trippy comebacks and stuff, and I don't know if that's actually what was in there. Again, I haven't seen it, but it just didn't feel like anything I wanted to watch. That don't put the Star Trek name on that.
I kind of talked about it before but I'll just mention quickly, like it felt like they were constantly trying to fill every moment with something, and like constant chatter. Like they had Stephen Colbert was the guy doing the school announcements throughout the entire academy, right? So like anytime they would just have an establishing shot walking around, Stephen Colbert's just like spewing out lines and like jokes. They're not like, so and so meet your page to the office or so. It was all like just like stupid jokes, and
that kind of, well, it's like you said, there's so many things competing for your attention now.
Yeah,
almost as if they're afraid If
totally
there's
what it
nothing
is.
happening right now, they're gonna
Yeah.
look at their phone. They're gonna change the
Well,
channel. They're gonna do
they're
this.
also they're playing into the minds of the wired young people who need the social media, flipping from video to video to video,
Yeah.
constant
Sure.
stimulation. They got to be bombarded with stuff, or
Yeah.
they're going to turn the channel. I guess that's their fear.
Yeah. And like I said, like none of the woke stuff and all that, none of that bothered me. I don't care about any of that stuff. Like if it's good writing, it's good writing. It like if you got a good story to tell about two gay characters, I don't care. That doesn't bother me. Tell your story. But it was just when it came down to it, it was just really bad writing. None of this
Mhm.
stuff was interesting. Like, like I love Robert Picardo. I think he was like the only really good part of Star Trek Voyager. And it got these characters all talking and having these dialogue, and they have him singing in the background. He's like doing like this opera thing with this other actor, and it just seems like maybe just have the camera on that for a little bit so I can digest that and then go into it'd be like you know like in the old in the Next Generation when they would go to one of Data's rehearsals, right? And the
Mhm.
characters are sitting there and they're watching Data, and he'll do like a violin or something like that, and or whatever the heck he was doing, or maybe acting in a play or whatever. And then they would get up and clap, and then they would talk about his play, and then they would talk about whatever's going on in the ship. That's what I like, right? This is just
Yeah.
like, can you imagine like Data's doing the concert, and then the characters just all start talking and doing all these quips and all this stuff about and making jokes and all this stuff, and then he's still doing his thing, and then the captain comes down and he's got a problem on the bridge, and it's like three things all happening at once, and none of it's very good, none of it's very interesting. I don't know. It just was not very good television, and I'm not surprised that it got canned. And I
Okay.
really wish that they would get back to just making Star Trek, making its own unique thing. They don't like, I understand that like, Star Trek from the 60s was a reflection of what television was like in the 60s. Star Trek, The Next Generation was a reflection of late 80s or early 90s television. All that stuff is fine and incorporate new ideas and all that, but don't take what made Star Trek unique, what made it its own thing, and just totally throw it by the wayside and try to make, I don't know, 90210 Star Trek or whatever.
If you want to talk about something that's like full of quips, going at a high speed, never lets you go, but is also entertaining, I can segue into my latest pickup.
Let's
I know
do it.
something you enjoy, Kevin.
I enjoy everything.
I got the
Oh,
Faulty Towers.
My goodness. Duke, have you ever seen Faulty Towers?
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Look at
You
that.
never heard? You're not a big
No.
British.
Well,
you're
No.
you were the
no.
guy that would call in to Duke and
That
NES
was
Complex's
me.
show in your British accent.
Yeah.
And you don't even watch British television. I mean,
Well, you have to understand I was making fun of the British. I wasn't celebrating them.
This is hypocrisy at its highest level, Duke. I think
No.
you would like Faulty Towers because it's a little more grounded. It's not as like
it's not as
abstract.
manic as like Monty Python. But
So
what I'm
Monty-
holding right here, Duke, this is the entirety of the series. It's 12 episodes.
Okay.
12 episodes, and I'm only 2 in, and I think it's
Are these when were
hilarious.
these produced? Are these old or new? Or?
70s.
This is the 70s.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
I never even heard of them.
I
Okay,
had
I'm all
heard
about
about
70s
it, but I
humor.
had
Yeah.
never seen it before. Well, it's a guy and his wife, and they're running like a small hotel, like kind
in
of
Torquay.
in Torquay.
Torquay,
And it's
madam.
just sitcom based stuff. It's like what
Okay.
goes wrong today, with the waiter, with the guests, and all that. And John Cleese, he is the guy who can deliver sarcastic quips at a mile a minute, and you never get tired of it because he's just good at it. He's a talent.
snark. So he's the snarky character, but there's only one, right? And yeah, he is just he's an awful person, terrible person, but you love him because he's so friggin' funny. But yeah, have you ever heard the story of how he came up with the concept for Faulty Towers? It was kind of like Christopher Guest coming up with Spinal Tap. So John Cleese had some sort of gig or something like that in Torquay, and he had to go to this hotel. You're staying at this hotel, so he goes into the hotel, and there's a guy behind the counter doing his thing, and so John Cleese comes up to the counter, and he's waiting, and the guy looks at him, and he just yells "guest" to someone in the back, you know. And then, the guy keeps going about his business, and John Cleese is just standing there and nothing's happening. And so eventually John Cleese is like, excuse me. And the guy behind the counter goes, what? And he was like, this guy just hates his job so much. And then that just became the whole show right there. So he wrote it with his wife at the time, Connie Booth. And it is 12 episodes of the best television I've ever seen. So Richard, you've never seen the show either? Like, this is your first time watching it?
I had always been looking for it. I'd come across it a few times, and it was always like, oh boy, they got them all here, but they're kind of expensive. And I just came across it for real cheap. I got it for $6 or whatever the US equivalent might be for or something. So I finally got them, sat down, and was like, oh, I got to watch that Dr. Monroe. Nah, I'm gonna watch some Faulty Towers first.
I can't blame you there.
I got 2 episodes in. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get back to the rest
That's
of these.
good.
I
love that you're watching that old stuff. That's great. Keep it up.
It's one of those shows that I wish I could just erase from my memory and experience it for the first time all over again. Because, I'm at the point where I'm just like saying the lines before he does, It's so good. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you're in for a good ride.
10 more great episodes, I hope.
Yeah.
One other thing I'll mention, I don't know if you've ever seen these. It was my first time to watch these, but Yojimbo and Sanjuro, which are 2 old samurai films.
Yeah.
Cool.
From Akira Kurosawa, who did Seven Samurai and stuff like that. I finally got a hold of them, and I watched it, and boy, Yojimbo is fantastic. It's really good. So if you're into those older, like Western style things, I don't even want to say anything about it. It's great. And then Sanjuro is a sequel to it, where it's his same character in another situation. Probably not as good as the first, but still a very entertaining film.
Are those
very
like
well
60s,
made.
70s film? When were those produced?
50s. Oh no, 61,
50s, okay.
61 and 62.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought they were older too. Yeah, I have seen. Well, maybe that's because I've seen. You just mentioned the name. Now it ran out of my brain.
Seven Samurai.
I've seen that one and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, those have been on my radar for a while, but I just keep forgetting about them, kind of thing.
And I also got the Hidden Fortress, which is the one that Lucas always cites as inspiration for Star Wars, but I haven't watched that one yet.
Right. Yeah. What about you, Duke? Have you been watching anything cool lately?
Watching,
that you're allowed to talk about and not spoil for your podcast?
Exclusive for my
yeah. Can you give us
a Fandango exclusive?
I have not been consuming a lot of content, to be honest with you, lately. I've been playing some video games here and there. Same old Duke, playing my Atari and NES and Super Nintendo, and popping into VHS here and there that I pick up from Goodwill. But no, I can't remember the last film movie I actually watched besides Dr. Moreau just a couple days ago. That's worth mentioning. I'm trying to think if I haven't been to the movies in forever. Yeah. Nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I mentioned I watched Nosferatu. Did you see the Robert Eggers
I did.
version? What'd you think?
I enjoyed it.
I did too.
It's been a few months now, so I'm fuzzy on the memories, but I liked it. I didn't think it was super fantastic,
Same,
amazing,
yeah.
but I thought it was very creative. It felt like, what we were talking about with the Moreau thing. It felt like someone's vision.
Yeah.
He had a particular thing he was going for. He went for it, and it was nice, especially when you compare it to what is popular now, of big, flashy, fast, repetitive things. I mean, granted, this is a remake of
silent film,
much older film, which I saw that one. I also enjoyed that one, but they're not it's not the greatest thing that I've ever seen, but it wasn't terrible. And it was
Right.
nice to see a film that was probably for a lower budget,
Oh
had a
yeah.
nice artistic vision to it,
Yeah.
a certain
Yep.
style, and you say, I watched what somebody wanted me to watch. And it's like,
Yeah.
hey,
I think that's
it's
what for
entertaining
me,
for that way.
that's where it's at, is that like A24 does a lot of the artist vision, writer director kind of movies. Ari Aster is one that comes to mind. Robert Eggers. There's a couple others that make those A24 films like Hereditary and Midsummer, and what was the one about the robot girl, which I really liked. I think we
Ex
talked about
Machina.
that. Ex Machina,
Yeah.
yeah. Those types of films.
Mm.
That's where I kind of gravitate towards.
All the movies I
Um,
hate. Yeah.
yeah, well, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? We all have our own opinions about
Yep.
things, but
That's right.
I just appreciate that it's someone's project and vision, like we just talked about. It's not some hired director that's just using algorithms to try to figure out how to make the most money. And that's what I feel like you're really getting out of Hollywood these days, for the
Yeah.
most part.
Have
So
you seen any films by I gotta get his name right. S. Craig Zahler?
doesn't ring a
I
bell.
know Kevin doesn't like his films. He did Bone Tomahawk, Brawl
Oh
in
God.
Cell Block 99, Dragged Across Concrete. He's
No.
another like director that kind of does smaller movies. They're kind of brutal, but they have a certain vibe to them. It's like
Mhm.
this is definitely not a Hollywood committee movie.
Yeah.
So I would recommend checking out some of his stuff.
Okay. Good to know.
Cool.
But no, I
Uh,
have not been watching. I've been doing a lot of other things, but not watching a lot of films these days.
What about
okay.
adding to your shelves? What's the latest pickup you have that you a
I do have
little
hang on one second.
Yeah.
I do have
You.
a pickup.
yeah.
I know. I saw it. I saw it on his Discord. I
And
saw
for
what he
our
had.
viewers, you
Do
just
you
got
guys
treated to a
remember?
little knee action when Duke got up there.
I'm gonna
Oh,
be
look
saving
at
that for later.
you guys remember, or did you ever have Switch Force? This is
No.
the one I had as a
No.
kid. I had this exact car as a kid. It's essentially, remember Stompers? I loved Stompers as a kid.
Were those
It
those
was
big wheel things?
yeah, you just put a double A battery in it. Okay. And you
Mhm.
just turned it on and it just went straight, couldn't control it or anything. It just went forward. Well, this was another, Rough Riders was a competitor for Stompers, and Rough Riders had their own line of Stomper-esque cars with the rubber tires, and you put a double A battery in it and had the little headlights, and you just kind of had a little obstacle course or something, and you watched it go over logs and stuff. Well, this was like a variation of that, where it's kind of sort of like Mask. You did kind of, it's a regular car, and then
Mhm.
when you push on the top, all these guns shoot out. And I had
Wow.
this exact one, so I picked this up recently. I was happy to find this really cool
There
toy in
is
really good shape
something
too.
familiar about that. I don't think I had anything like that, but now that you
Yeah,
mention it, there's something familiar about that.
I don't
yeah, just
recall that at all.
yeah. They were cool. So anyway, that's my latest little toy pickup that I picked up.
Neat.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
but I'm still, it's again same old thing. My love of this hobby is was not a trend or a passing thing for me. This is something that I still, to this day, I love my retro video games. I still hunt for them. I still go to conventions. I still do all the same stuff I did
Mm.
back when we all first met. So same old Duke, I guess, in a lot of
That's
ways.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised to see you with a Genesis item behind you.
Oh yeah. I dabble. I dabble.
Devil.
No, I collect all that stuff. So it's still my main
Your
drive.
your
But
game your game room, your what did you call it? What's your room?
the retro
The
room is what I
classic
call
a retro
it.
room. Yes.
Yeah.
It's probably one of my favorite retro rooms that I've seen on the internet because one thing about yours is it does stay like it is who you are. It's not the
Yeah.
trend of the moment or anything like that. And I mean, you've
Absolutely.
added to it so much over the years. Every once in a
Yeah.
while, you put out a video or something, and I
Yeah.
can see a little bit more of what's going on in there. I mean, that's
Well,
Duke.
that was that was the whole my whole initial point was reliving my childhood. So it's all about capturing the toys that I had when I was a kid as a primary kind of baseline point of
Mhm.
all of this. And then I do go outside of that as well. But for the most part, there's nothing more exciting to me is especially when you stumble across something that you forgot that you had at like a flea market, and you're like, it's like a memory unlocked kind of moment. It's like, oh my gosh, I remember I had that toy, and you pick it up for $1, and you put it on your shelf. I know it's so silly for a 51-year-old man to be doing that stuff, but hey, it brings me joy. It's my escapism from the real world, and I still enjoy this hobby very much. And which is, Chris and I really bond over that same kind of. He's still just like me. He's in it for the purity of it, and he was collecting before it was popular. He was involved in this stuff before it was trendy on YouTube and stuff. And we do our podcast together. Try to do it every month. We don't always pull that off, but we I think do well together because we both are kind of purists in the hobby still.
Sure.
So
we're posers. Kevin's background changes all the time. I threw away everything.
I mean, yeah. What the heck?
Well, I'm a hobbyist at heart. Like I have I have too many hobbies. It's not just this. I have other things that I'm a hunter. I'm a runner. I do all these other things as well. I have too many hobbies, but that's just my nature. I get into things, but I usually stick to them.
Well, you have ups and downs. Like, right, some days you really want to sit down and play a game. Other days, you might spend a week doing something else.
Well, conceptually, like my game collecting is, I always see it as a library. I'm not collecting for clout or for value. I could care less how much these things cost. It's to have a library of games that I can pull something off my shelf if somebody mentions something or I see a video and I'm like, oh, I got that game in my library. And I can pull it out and experience something I haven't experienced before. Like, for example, I just played through an NES game that I'd never played as a kid, Codename Viper, Capcom game. Not a great game, but to play a old school NES Capcom game for the first time that I never played before, but still has the same sound effects and same type of music that I'm familiar with, is what I'm talking about, where I kind of branch away from just the games that I had or played into that realm as well, which is really fun for me to play some of these older games for the first time that I missed, that are still kind of lined up with what I played as a kid. So yeah, there's endless amounts of that, which is why I kind of got away from any modern gaming at all and just completely just stick to retro, because I could play a retro game for the rest of my life until the day I die, and there will still be thousands that I haven't played yet. So I'll just kind of focus on that, I think. New games don't, just like new movies, they don't interest me too much.
How are you guys for time? Because we're going long,
I got plenty of time.
I'm gonna have to bail in like another 15-20 minutes.
Okay. Let's see, what the heck do I want to talk about? Well, I just wanted to share, because Duke, you were mentioning how you had like a crazy weather on your show, like you had a lot of snow and that this year, and that I just want to share with you. I know this is visual again, so if you're just listening, you're going to have to imagine. This is what we dealt with this year.
Oh my gosh!
Oh wow!
So for the people listening,
for
people listening, that's my wife Sarah standing in front of our house that you can't see because there's a huge pile of snow.
Yeah, that's Canada for you.
In front of it. Yeah, it's been this year, and now it's starting to melt. And you're not supposed to see that. Now it's starting to melt, and it's okay. I don't care if people see that. But it's we have like a ditch right beside our house, and it is filling up. It filled up once when we first moved here in 2023. It like filled up and kind of went away, but now it's like this year it's just been insane. Like we had a lot of snow this winter, and then we had just one day about a month ago when I took that photo, maybe about 4 or 5 weeks ago, that we just had another entire winter's worth of snow dump on us, and the roads were blocked, everything, you couldn't get out. We were down to like one lane on our road because the plows didn't come through. It was just a guy on one of the neighbors in a payloader that just drove down the street and kind of cleared one path for us. So like if you saw a car coming, you'd have to pull into someone's driveway so they could get by. It was crazy. Anyways,
crazy.
all that stuff is melting right now, and the ditch beside our house is just full of water. We got beavers swimming in there right now. But the last time this happened, my sump pump never came on once. Like it stayed dry down there and all that, so I wasn't worried. This time, right now, it's running like every 2 minutes.
Man,
thing is filled and completely drained, and I have like I had to make a hose yesterday because you couldn't find anything. Everything was sold out everywhere. The first place I went to is Rona, which is like our version of Lowe's that you have down in the States. We went to Rona, and I couldn't get to Rona because the road to Rona was flooded. And people were driving through with their trucks, so they were barely making it. And I'm in my little Honda Fit, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
See, here in Maryland, we're almost at summertime. We're at 80 degrees today, or 70, whatever.
It's 9 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's warm enough to start melting everything. Anyways, wow. I found one. I was able to get one pipe so basically our sump pump was just spitting out of the house, and there was only about a 15-inch pipe sticking out of the house, and it was like just pouring water right beside the house. So all that stuff that's going into the sump pump from the weeping tile, it just ends up going back, and we're just recycling water, and it's getting really soggy back there. So I was finally able to find a hose because it was just everybody was doing the same thing. So I hooked that up, and it was about 15 feet or so short of the ditch that I wanted to throw it in, because there's still so much snow. I couldn't just put it like directly away from the house. I'd have to start digging snow and ice through, right? And I just wanted to put it in the ditch. So I ended up having to take electric tape and start taping together pieces of like shop vac hose and shop vac extensions. And I eventually got it to the ditch. But yeah, so that's what I've been dealing with. And right now we're too afraid to leave the house. Like there has to be somebody here, because if the power goes out, that sump pump isn't running, and I don't want this. I don't want my room to flood. So yeah.
Dang.
So we've been dealing with that. That's been fun.
Well, why don't I give a quick update on, because I used to do this with my kids and all, and I no longer have kids because they're all adults now.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that actually. Are you an empty nester now, or
almost? Both my boys, Bobby and Luke, bought a house together and moved out about a year ago.
So your boys rather live with each other than with you guys?
Yeah, they lived. Yeah, they bought a house about 18 minutes away, and for 20-some-year-old kids, that's pretty good. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So they're living their best. Bobby's 23 now, and Luke is 21. And Anna, my baby, is 19. So she's they're all adults working full time. It's drastically different.
How long ago did Retro Nonsense start, the channel? What year was that?
I think Anna must have been around 7 or 8, since she's 19.
Oh my goodness.
So
I guess maybe around the time we started doing this.
Yeah. Well, it was before you guys started the podcast. I know that.
Oh,
that's right. He's right, because I remember we were we didn't really know if we should call the show Retro Fandango because there was already a Retro Nonsense out there.
Right.
Well, I'll never forget your very first episode. You gave me a shout out, or whatever you call it, and kind of, were talking about me, and I was all tickled because your very first episode, you were talking about Retro Nonsense. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So
wow.
Right. And then you were on maybe like episode 4 or something like that.
Yeah, I was on many episodes, but the first one was one of the lower numbers for sure. Yeah,
the alien one.
That's right. Yeah, that was like 4 or 5. Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's been a while. It's been quite a while. But life is different now than it was when I first started interacting with everybody. But it's good. Everybody's doing well, and we're all living our best life. And I'm still, Bobby works with me full time now, and I still work for myself, Duke's Electric. So Bobby's my right hand man. So we work together every day. Luke does construction for another company, and we also work with him sometimes as well because we're kind of all in cahoots.
Yeah.
And my daughter works for a podiatrist across the Bay Bridge. So yeah, they're all working full time. And like I said, the boys moved out, and Luke is engaged. He'll be married in the summer, so I'll have a
Wow.
Oh
married
wow.
child. Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. So
Huh.
life comes at you fast. Yeah.
So what are you
That-
going to do with all that extra space in your house now?
Oh, Retro Room 2.0 for sure.
There you go.
No, my wife already took one of the rooms. It's a exercise room at this point, so we've turned it into a little mini gym. So
Oh,
that's what
There
one
you
of the
go.
rooms has become. Yeah.
Well, that's that
So yeah.
phase, you when you start to reclaim your time after your kids are
Yes.
grown up, and it's like this is normally when other people would start their retro room, but you got a head start years and years ago.
Right. Yeah, very grateful for that. Yeah, for sure.
it's so
But
foreign to me because I'm at the age now where I have several friends who are becoming empty nesters for the first time, and they all seem really sad to see their children go. Meanwhile, when I was 18, my parents couldn't wait to get me out of the house. It was just I didn't don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Well, it's a funny dynamic because, well, for me, I still see my boys every day. Bobby comes to the house every day, and we work together. And Luke comes to the house every day as well because his boss lives in my neighborhood, and he picks them up from the house.
Mm.
So we're interacting every single day, and they live 18 minutes away. So it's really like a soft launch of sorts, as far as
That's
empty
got to be
nesters
nice.
go. Yeah, so there's been no sadness because they're not like gone. They're
Right.
still right here,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
they just have their own house. So, and it is nice on the upside, it is nice to have a little more quiet, a little more space, stuff like that. So
Mhm.
that there is a benefit to it, but I kind of get the best of both worlds because I still get to see them every day.
Mhm.
That's great.
So
Awesome.
yeah,
If
yeah.
you
So
don't mind me asking too, like, because I don't get to
yep.
talk to many Americans as I used to, but how are you
Hmm.
dealing with all the craziness that's happening in your country? Is it like, do you get
Well,
overwhelmed or do you even not bother with it? Like, what's
I mean, that is probably see, as you know, I kind of stepped away from social media, years
it
ago,
seems like
right,
everybody has.
right around the whole
Yeah.
2020 COVID, BLM, Trump, all that. For me, I don't like social media. The Twitter was always exclusively an extension of my hobby, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then everything started kind of getting in there, mixing all up. I'm like, for me, it was escapism from the real world. That's all I ever wanted it to be. And it couldn't be that anymore. Every time I opened Twitter, it was violence and drama and bickering and fighting and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I got to step away. So that's why I created my own little space. And it's curated, it's controlled, it's just what I want. But I largely ignore the news. I don't care about it. I'm a responsible voter, and I give my 2 cents, but I do not consume news like a news junkie. I just don't think it's necessary. A lot of people think in order to be a responsible citizen, you got to know what's going on out there. I don't agree with that philosophy. I know what's going on with my family, my friends, my community, and my local state, stuff like that. And I do keep an eye on things. Obviously, I want to know what's going on, but I just ignore it. I ignore it. It's just white noise to me.
Mm.
One
So
of us. One of us. I'm with you, dude.
I'm
I
I'm with you 100%.
I do agree with the sentiment that the stuff that's on the national level does get over blown, um, because it does affect everybody to a certain degree. But like people do not pay attention enough to their local stuff, which is stuff that
yeah,
affects them more.
right.
That's more directly affects them, which has always been a little bit odd to me. But yeah, it's social media.
Well, humans were not meant to be omniscient. We don't need to know what's going on every corner of the globe. It's not
Mhm.
normal for our brains to even understand that. So it's not a natural way to live. Back for thousands of years, humans lived in a village, and all they had to be concerned about was protecting their village and learning how to live together and work together and barter and all that stuff. So this whole new notion that the whole world is in our pocket is bizarre. It really is a strange thing. And I just don't care. I want nothing to do with it. When I'm being lowered into the ground, no one's going to say, he really should have watched more news. He really should have had a stronger opinion on this.
Yeah.
He really should have told me his feelings on abortion, whatever. No, it's not. They're going to say, yeah, he would have given me the shirt off. Hopefully, he was kind. He was generous. He was all these things that I aspired to be. That's what matters, is the people in your life. So I just kind of, social media, I think, is awful. I think
It
it can
is.
be used
Mhm.
as a tool for good. It can be. The medical world benefits from it, but my gosh, it is so unbalanced, evil versus good to me. So and I'm so grateful that my children want nothing to do with it either, because that is
That's
a
good. They
challenge
Yeah.
for parents. My kids hate it.
Oh, that's
Hate it.
great. So they stayed off
So,
it completely?
well, we had a rule as parents, no phone until you're 15, I think it was, 14 or
Okay.
15.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when they did get their phone, no social media. Now that my kids are
Mhm.
adults, they look around and go, why are people just got their phone in their face all? Why are they just flicking their hand? They don't understand it. And they're
They
out there
didn't
having
get
the best.
brainwashed. Yeah.
No, exactly. So we were very, we homeschooled our kids. We were very involved in that type of control and caution. And I think it served them well. And they're thanking me every day. I'm so glad you didn't give me an iPad and just tell me go leave me alone. We were very involved parents. We did the Boy Scout trips. We did the dance recitals. We put the time in. And now as an older parent with adults, I am so benefiting from that because I have great relationships with my kids and we spend good quality time together and we know how to interact like what I would consider normal humans. But what I
Mhm.
see out there today is so foreign and strange to me. I think it's poison. I think it's really bad. I don't think we understand yet how this is going to affect the human race in the future, especially now with this AI thing. I think it's so creepy to me. I want nothing to do with it. I think it's just
Mhm.
scary, scary stuff.
Yeah.
Not to be some boomer, as the kids would call me, but I just want
No,
nothing to do with it.
no, I watched a video with Bernie Sanders that did a thing with AI, Claude or Claude. We call him Claude here because we're French Canadian, but Claude is the name of the AI thing. And he sat down with Claude and he said, Claude, should human beings be putting restrictions on AI and keeping an eye on AI and maybe slowing down this whole rush to get AI out the window in order to put regulations on it to be responsible with it because they're saying that like AI could actually become more smart than us and really start taking over the planet. It sounds like science fiction stuff, but it's something that's an actual concern.
Yeah.
And Claude was like, "Nah, don't worry about it. Everything's fine and all that." And then Bernie sat and talked with him for about 10 minutes. And then finally Claude was like, "Yeah, maybe you should put restrictions on us. Maybe you should watch AI and all that." It was kind of trippy to see that he was actually able to convince it. So yeah, he's been trying to like put some reins in on it, but it's really these huge corporations, these moguls and that are pushing for it because they can make more money, right? It's the
Yeah.
Oh
whole,
yeah.
get rid of a worker. You don't need somebody on the phone to
Scary
answer
stuff.
and
Well,
talk to your customer when you can just have them talk to AI
the
instead.
rapidness of it is what's scary to me. We went from I saw my first AI video, I feel like just like a year ago, and you could tell something was weird about it. Now it's like within a
Yeah,
short period of time, it's like that is unbelievable
yeah.
technology, and
It was
Yeah.
called deep fake. Remember
deep
when it was
fakes.
called
Yeah,
deep fakes? And now
Mhm.
it's AI.
now it's like they can do anything with a couple of prompts, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and to me, that can start wars. That you can have an image or a video of somebody doing something that's not real, and
Sure.
next thing you know, it doesn't matter if it's real or not because the damage is done within now with how fast information spreads. By the time you realize that's not real, the damage is done and people have moved on to the next thing. And
Yeah,
it's
especially the way people process information. I absorbed it in half a second while I was
yeah,
flipping through my phone, but it's in
yeah.
there. I believe it now.
Hmm.
And it's awful because it can be used with like lay people. Like, for example, I don't even like bringing this topic up, but like things like pornography and stuff where you can put somebody's face on somebody else and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And now something could be fake, but somebody might say 5 years from then, wasn't she in a porn? You just all that stuff. You're planting seeds. and it's just nothing but darkness that can come out of it for me. So I hate it. I don't want it. That's why I'm in my room that's locked in to the 80s, stuck in the 80s, so to speak.
Right.
Because that's obviously all old people say that it was better back in my day. Everything was great. I don't really claim that. There were things that were worse too. I understand that. But where things are moving, I just don't want anything to do with for the most part. Scary stuff.
Yeah,
me.
fair enough. Yeah, no, I agree with you 100% on social media. It's designed to keep you engaged. That's all it's about. That's all they care about is keeping you engaged. Click on the next video, scroll to the next thing and all that. And the easiest way to keep people engaged is through anger. You show them a picture, you show them an image of a kitten, a cute kitten, and you might like it and then move on. You show them a picture of the same kitten, but get its name wrong, and that name's wrong. You're typing away. And then that, the more people that start typing away and start arguing over the kitten's name, or let's say the kitten's name is ambiguous, right? And like some people think it's this, some people that, and then all those people commenting on it, well, the algorithm starts pushing it to more and more people because they think this is keeping people engaged.
Yeah, and so the psychology of it is bizarre. I mean, for example, I have a Facebook account because sometimes I want to know what's going on in my literal community, like Jarman, where I live, like in my neighborhood or in my city, my small town of where I live, because that can be important. That can be beneficial. Accident on Route 50, stay away, that kind of thing. Just literal information. And you'll get the most benign post. Oh, I lost my cat. You scroll through, there's 150 comments. Well, take better care of your cat. There's an argument instantly.
Yeah,
there's fighting. And I'm like, who wastes their time putting snarky comments on other people? It's like they must be just constantly on their phone all day long.
I'll tell you,
fights.
There's one of my neighbors, I don't know which one, I don't know where, but they kept leaving their garbage out, and the bears would take the garbage from wherever it is and bring it into my yard and start having lunch in my yard. And I wouldn't see the bear, but I get up in the morning and there'd be trash all over. So, after about the third time this happened, I don't know which neighbor it is, but I started to know, like, oh, they like those K-cups for coffee. And oh, look, they like peanut brittle. And I start knowing everything about them, right? But then you get like bank stuff in there too, right? So I put on one of my community things on Facebook, hey, maybe put your garbage away or something, so this doesn't continue to happen. And it was just nothing but snarky comments about how I'm trying to gatekeep how people put their garbage out and all that. And I'm just like asking you to like maybe take some responsibility. So it got to the point where like, the ditch over here that's overflowing, it affects one of the community pathways. And I was like, should I put out a photo of like what it's like so people don't walk? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to bother with that because I don't want all the snarky comments about, well, you live in Canada and it's spring and it overfloods and
I mean, it's sad. I mean, I look at these people and I don't want to judge or condemn or like put people down, but it's pathetic. I mean, why would you waste time just looking for a fight, arguing with people? What does that do psychologically? Is this some kind of endorphin hit? Or I don't know, but I don't like it, man. That's why I stepped away. I don't want to argue with people. I want to enjoy.
They've got a way of sucking you in, and like Kevin said, it's when you're angry, when you're irritated, when you've got something you want to say. It's like that's what keeps you.
But where I come from, that's childish. Like that's what children do. They bicker, they fight, they argue. Adults shouldn't be doing that. We're supposed to be mature, right?
It's a weakness. It's a weakness that they're exploiting because you're on there, you're looking at things, you're clicking on things, you're spending time on the device, on the platform, whatever it is, and that is good for whoever owns that platform.
Yeah,
I will say though, I'm still gonna post my Trump memes because I find them funny. When he calls himself a doctor and they got images of the guy fainting behind him and he's standing there not doing anything about it. I mean, I got to tweet that out. That's just funny. It's hilarious. I know it's wrong. I know it's childish, but and I just stick it to my Facebook where nobody cares.
Yeah. Well, the notion that everybody has to proclaim every thought in their head to everybody in the world is just foreign
Yeah.
to me. Our generation did not grow up like. I mean, you saved politics and religion for your close, intimate friends. It was a rule. You just didn't bring that stuff up amongst the common, social situations.
Yeah.
But because of social media and the internet, now everybody has to proclaim their beliefs, and then this is the right thing to do. This is the right way to think. If you don't agree with me, we're enemies. I don't. I'm
Right.
okay with having people that are not conservatives like me. I want that. I want to learn from other people. I want to learn from their experiences. I want to learn from their worldviews and their ideologies. I don't want to fight with them. I want to have conversation and maybe learn from them. But I don't want to bicker and fight. I
Right.
didn't grow up that way. All my friends weren't the same as me. I grew up as a Christian. All my friends were Christians. We didn't have to argue about that and stuff. It was just like, hey, that's just what I am. I had a Jewish friend. I had atheist friends. Whatever.
I
So
didn't
The
have any
prob
friends, so
Well, one of the problems is there's probably a lot of people who are just like you who don't want to do that, but they've learned that, well, there's money in doing that. And a
of
lot of
course,
people who, I mean, you see it
attention.
all the time in the media where it's like we bring on a guest and then we start, digging and hitting because that's going to get clicks. People are going to be
yeah.
watching. It's like, that's all
Oh,
it is.
how many times have you seen like YouTubers or whatever that you used to watch or whatever, and you're like, I haven't checked in on this person in like a few years, and you go check in and they're doing like all the, I don't know, like just all the clickbait stuff, all the arguing
Mm.
and
I know, but
infighting and all that stuff.
they cannot be contented people though. It's stressful. It's negative. It's not the path to happiness, in my opinion.
No,
It's
yeah,
not.
but they I don't know, they think it is. You guys had a good discussion on your show about the YouTubers that
Yeah, that was
the young ones especially
yeah,
that
yeah.
got all trapped in the cycle of making like monies and doing the clickbait videos and all that, and then
Mm.
whatever, they got canceled for whatever
Oof,
reason or whatever,
gone.
and yeah, and all their, and then the older guys too, that like they started on YouTube like 15, 20 years ago putting out the videos, and then the videos start drying up, so then they start having to
Yeah.
put out just stupid content or whatever for dumb clicks, and they just hate it. They hate their lives, but they
Yes.
never went to school, they don't have any
They're
training or
slaves.
anything
They're
like that.
slaves to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're imprisoned by it.
Yeah.
It's sad. I've been following this. You probably know who it is. The Quartering. Are you familiar with him?
No.
He's a YouTuber.
Mhm.
He's an idiot. I can't stand him. But he's been around forever. He's been around for like 15 plus years, and he just got lucky early. He's a talentless hack. He's an idiot, and now he's just doing just like junk, short form, just trying to survive, and you can see the end coming. It's like it's over for him, but he has this is all he's ever done. He's like in his 40s. He's a millionaire from it. He's a bigger YouTuber, and it's crumbling. It's like it's because it's not purposeful work. It's not like healthy, career career path.
Right.
It was a gamble to begin with, and some of these people made it big, but I mean, you could see the writing on the wall. It was not going to last. It's not, something that could just
Sustainable.
sustainable,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
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 Huh.
Yeah. The world is going into a handbasket, hell in a handbasket. I don't
Yeah,
know what
that's
that
it.
saying is. We're all going to end up. Oh, come on, Image. Oh, damn
You're
it!
ruining my joke. Come on.
Soon we'll
I
all
knew,
end up
I
like
knew,
this.
I knew that was gonna
This is
pop
where
up.
we're
I knew
headed.
it.
We're all going to be allergic to the sun. We're gonna have a big hat and sunglasses on, and we'll have our extra come in, our stand-in come in and do our life for us. Our AI stand-in.
There you go.
Yeah.
Duke, it's been wonderful having you
Yeah.
around. And if you guys want to keep talking, go right ahead. But I've got to take my daughter to the dentist, so I got
Okay.
to bail on this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You go
great,
ahead.
great
We'll
catching up with
wrap
you,
up.
Rich. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Oh,
I feel
not a
like we
problem.
just
Well, I
fell right
hope.
back into old times.
Well, we should be able to do this again. But I'm thinking perhaps if you do come back in the future, maybe it'd be possible that you might watch just a little bit of Star Trek, and we could
Okay, maybe I got some more homework to do.
maybe pick out a couple of choice episodes.
He's
and
gonna hate
go with
them.
them. Not if we
I
pick
don't think
the
I
right
honestly.
episodes.
I look secret. This is I guess a revelation of sorts. I watched Star Trek as a kid and I liked it, especially the
Mhm.
original with Kirk and all. And I also watched the Next Generation and enjoyed it. I wasn't a big fan of it, but I never hated it. So
Okay.
it's kind of like a joke that Star Wars. I always like Star Wars better. Not gonna lie, because lasers and action and Han
Oh, that's
Solo and all
fine.
that cool stuff. But I did watch Star Trek and I did like it. So I don't hate Star Trek. It's just
Okay.
You got me thinking now, Richard, because I think like Measure of a Man, I think that would be a great episode for Duke to watch.
It's a really good one.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think
he's
he would like
probably
it.
seen it now.
He
Yeah.
probably
is that
has.
a Next Generation?
Yeah. It's an
Yeah.
episode.
It's a
that's
data
some of the
episode.
Yeah, it's a
okay.
data. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he would
And
really
Wrath
like
of
that.
Khan is one of my favorite '80s. I love that movie.
Yeah, Wrath of Khan is like where Star Trek started to go downhill. That was the end. That was the beginning of the end. No.
Yeah.
I just think no. It made the villain.
It
the
went
big
to
thing.
action.
Yeah.
It went to
Yeah.
action.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I really got to go.
All right.
But,
Okay,
you guys
we're
keep
just gonna
talking.
wrap up.
We'll
So
talk to you
Take
later.
care.
all right,
All right.
bye, Richard.
Thanks, Duke.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, Duke. I just wanted to. Oh, do you want me to? Okay, I don't have to knock him out. Okay. I just wanted you to, anything you want to plug or anything like that, or
Not really. I mean, obviously my podcast, Retro
Yeah.
Nonsense podcast. Again, my good friend Chris Roberts and I have been doing it for I think it's 50 episodes that tomorrow we're going to record.
there's something to plug. Big
Um,
50, big 50 episode.
That's right. Yeah. So I think we're going to talk about AVGN and his 20th year anniversary video.
looking
and
forward
all
to
that
it.
stuff. So that'll be fun topic. But we just keep it simple, have fun. It's we record and I edit everything and put little sound effects in and little funny clips and stuff. And it's just a small audience, but we really enjoy it. And we're good friends. And Chris is a great guy. And I really love doing it with him. And he's become a very close friend of mine. So it's all that is there. It's very genuine and we keep it fun, keep it light. I'm not saying I'm a funny guy or anything, but we try to keep it lighthearted and fun. And I try to put through my editing magic, so make us sound as good as I can.
you guys are funny enough, and no, I enjoy the show. It's entertaining and it's fun. It's I sometimes scream at you guys, but
I'm
for the most
sure,
part,
I'm
yeah,
sure.
because like there's just something. But for the most part, yeah, I'm with you guys, and it's a fun hang in my
I
headphones
appreciate it.
as
Thank you very
I go
much.
for a walk. So
Well, this
definitely
was
check out.
I really I miss you guys. I miss hanging with everybody.
I
That's
know,
the
it's
drawback of me stepping away a little bit, is I miss out on what I loved about getting involved in the
there's
Cartridge Club and everything.
there's really nothing to step back into. Like it's not what it was.
I'm
like
so glad to hear that.
Well, it used to be that you put something out on Twitter and all your gang, all your friends would online would know. Now it's like everybody is kind of scattered, especially since Elon has taken over Twitter or X or whatever it's called now. There's some people that just refuse to go on there, which I understand.
Yeah.
So there's several places where you could like try to post something or whatever, but for the most part, like people are just I guess they're either burnt out with the social media, which I understand, and
Yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah.
done for the most part.
Well, I've got a ton of wonderful memories, especially the C3s that we did, meeting up in person and going to
those are fun.
conventions. And I mean, so many great people. You guys, the Q Dog. I don't want to start listing because I'll forget somebody, but everybody, Bill and
You mentioned the important ones. You don't have to mention
everybody, Derek. I don't want to keep going because I will miss people, but all the people that I've met and interacted with. Again, to be clear, I never had a falling out with anybody. I never got mad at anybody.
Yeah.
It was just the environment itself had become what a buzzword, toxic to me. I just got done with it. And I started it with my kids, and as my kids aged out, silly Duke dancing in the backyard was gone, and I'm a different Duke now. I'm a little more reserved and have slightly different interests, but I have all my YouTube videos that are still up, and it's a great thing that I have this record of raising my kids in this fun way and this
cool.
common interest that we shared, and I love that. And I'll cherish the memories forever of us hanging out and having all these podcasts. I hope I can. I've been invited on the Cartridge Club podcast a couple of times in the last couple of years, and I went on and did a couple. I did one with Curtis, and so yeah, I'm certainly welcome or willing to do that whenever they call upon me. In fact, Curtis tried to get me on just the other day, and I couldn't do it because I was busy. But somebody canceled on him, and I was like, oh man, I wish I could jump on, but I can't. So
Was it the Super Nintendo episode?
it was March
Yeah,
Madness.
yeah, which
Yeah,
I
it
think
was the
was
one you
Super
could pick
Nintendo.
anything you wanted. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was like the last. He's like literally like 45 minutes. Can you get on? I was like, oh man, I'm sorry, I got company. So
Yeah.
but anyway, I still love it. But the Cartridge Club specifically kind of shied away from retro games somewhat, if I remember right. So they started playing a lot of which I didn't have modern game systems. So that was part of also why I
They've
fell away from
they've always tried to do a mixture
a mixture. Yeah.
of new, and because it's hard, like not every, especially with the way that the collector market has just skyrocketed, and a lot of games, retro games, are just not attainable for a lot of people. And when you're talking to collectors, they're not really keen on using an emulator or whatever. So there was always been like a mixture of trying to do a little bit of old with modern, because modern too, it's like that's what everybody's playing right now. It's the new game, so you try to get like, but whatever the core is been retro. Like I'm going to be on this month because we're playing Okami, Okami. It's
don't know what that is.
It originally came out on the PlayStation 2, and you play as a wolf, and you got a little guy with you, and it's basically laid out like a Zelda game.
Okay.
And it's and so like the gimmick or whatever is that you have this artistic brush, just giant artistic brush that
I
comes
think
down.
I remember this game.
Yeah, it's all cell shaded, and that it's a beautiful game. It's I'm having fun with it. There is a lot of talking in it. Some people like Melissa have a problem with the talking in it, but I'm okay with it. I'm down. It's good so far. So yeah, I'm going to be on that.
That being said, you just triggered a memory. I just actually played through the Ori and the Blind Forest games, both of them.
Okay, yeah.
Man, did I love those. Those were fantastic. The music in those games was mind-blowing. I just loved them. Art direction was great, whimsical. Story was kind of muddled a little bit because it was hard to follow a little bit for me, but I just loved the tone of it, and the action platforming was gameplay was wonderful. So I'm sure you're familiar with those games.
I played the first one. I didn't even know there was a second one. So
second one's great, man. Yeah, they're both really, really solid games. So those are more modern, I guess. They were kind of like side-scrolling platformers, but they were what, mid 2000s, I guess.
Yeah, the first one, I think the first one just came out like with the new consoles, with PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, I think.
Oh, was it? I thought it was a 360 game. I could be wrong.
I think the first one came out around then, and I didn't even know there was a second one.
I thought they were indie games, but come to find out, they were like Microsoft games. They were produced, I think, by Microsoft for the Xbox or whatever.
Yeah. Did you play Metroid Prime 4? Or you have any interest or
no?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Wait a minute. I remember now. I was on the on your Discord. You said you didn't like that guy. That's right.
Well, I honestly, I was interested when it was, mentioned that it was coming out. I was like, oh my gosh, another Prime game.
Yeah,
I'm all about. But when I saw the videos and the clips and the overall consensus,
you haven't played it then.
I don't even have a Switch 2.
Did it came out on the Switch 1? Did it?
I
think it came out on both. They did like a
what was that Zelda
you're right.
game? I think you're right. But for what is it, $80? It's got to be a good game, and it sounds like it's not a good game. So I'm not.
$100 Canadian.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I ended up getting a Switch 2 because my nephew got one, and he's 12. He's going to be 13 now very soon.
Kevin got a Switch 2. Wow.
I know. Well, see, my nephew's at that age, so it's like this is the only window I'm gonna have. Like in like about 2 years, he's not gonna want to play with Uncle Kevin online anymore, right? So it's kind of like okay, and then I buy the physical games, and I can lend him the games. So his mom won't let me buy him games, but like, hey, I got this copy of Donkey Kong. I don't know. I played it. Here, you want to play it? Yeah, sure.
Right. That's a loophole, right?
Yeah. So that's how I get around.
That's cool. I didn't know that. But well, honestly, the biggest deterrent was that there was talking at all. I don't want a Metroid game with voice acting in it and quirky characters. That's not Metroid to me.
Yeah.
I had nothing. I don't want nothing to do with that.
Metroid
It's like you
Prime.
just described. It's like they're trying to pull in a new audience,
Yeah.
and also try to placate me as well as an old guy. And I'm like, that does not work, because all the stuff that's in there for the young audience annoys me, and I don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah. So there was talking in Metroid Prime 3, and then there was a lot of bad dialogue in that Wii game that came out.
Other M.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I never played that one.
This one, Locke trying to get in on the whole snarky comedy and stuff and all that.
Please. I saw the clips. I was like, nope.
Yeah, honestly, for me, it was a small part of the game. I just kind of was able to tune that stuff out and just focus on the game itself, which, the levels in the game are great. That it's laid out more like a Zelda game where you have that hub world in the middle,
right,
Hyrule, which is really empty and barren.
Yeah,
There's
it's
really
a
not
bike.
much.
It's just like a big desert. Yeah,
that part kind of sucks.
That's what I heard. Yeah,
I mean, to me, the whole game was a solid 7. I'd say it's a 7. It's just not like the 9.5.
Well, let me ask you this: did you play the remaster of Metroid Prime 1 when it came out on Switch?
I have not.
Oh my gosh, you've got to play that. It was so well remastered. It was gorgeous. Not a stutter. It played so well, and I had so much fun playing Metroid Prime 1 remastered. It was only like $40.
Yeah, right.
I highly recommend you playing through that. It was such a great experience to replay that on a Switch with a bigger screen and better graphics and better frame rate. It was a great experience, man. I enjoyed that immensely.
It's just I've played Metroid Prime so many times. And
fair. I only played it probably once back in the day. I played through it one time, and that was it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I played it. So I played through it like I got up. I can't remember the name of the boss that I got up to the very first time I played it, but I got up to it's one of the last 3 bosses in the game, and I was using one of those GameCube. It wasn't an official Nintendo GameCube memory card. It was one of those knockoff ones with the switch on them that you could like switch to different so you can have more saves on it. That thing crapped out. Yeah. And I was like,
I'm done.
Done with that. So then when I got a Wii, and you remember the Wii would play old GameCube games.
Yes, yeah.
I ended up playing it and finishing it. I actually finished Prime 2 before 1 because I was so sour on that save. So I played Prime 2 on the GameCube. And then when I got the Wii, I finally played through Prime 1 all the way through. And then they came out with the Wii versions of those games. I ended up playing that. And then I played it on an emulator on my PC because they figured out how to get the Wii stuff with the mouse and all that. So I played it through. So I played through the game about 3 times.
Okay.
And it's been a while. So if I do go back to it, I definitely would play that version. But
well, I was so impressed with the quality of the remaster, like the steam and the reflections and all the stuff was just gorgeous to me. I couldn't believe they pulled that off on the Switch. But what about Metroid Dread? Did you play that?
I have not played Dread, and I do need to get that. See, I didn't have a Switch, right? So that's the other thing. Like everybody is complaining about the Switch too, and I get it. It's expensive. The games are really expensive. There's not a lot of new content there for the Switch too.
Yeah.
But that's for the people who had a Switch. I had a Switch and I got rid of it. I only had it for like a hot minute.
I remember that. I remember you getting rid of it. Yeah.
So now it's like I'm going back and playing all those Switch games that I missed out on. Right. So I feel like I got plenty of content on there.
I do enjoy having a Switch because what I use it for is emulating like 90s FPSs like Doom and Quake. And it's great for that kind of stuff because I don't have a means to play that. So to pop that thing onto my television and play like Quake, the original Quake, or I played through that. Was it Dark Forces? I think I played. Yeah, the original Dark Forces, the PC game I played through on my Switch, which I loved every minute of that too. So all those old school FPSs, and I use it primarily for that and retro stuff. So only new games I played on my Switch was what is it called? Breath of the Wild.
Right. Okay.
The new Zelda game I played through, but I think that might be the only new game that I ever really played on that thing.
So when you say you emulate, did you buy them through the store or did you like find a way to get them on there nefariously, because that'd be
What
like the older first person shooter games.
Oh no, you buy them on the
Oh,
shop
okay, okay.
for a couple bucks. Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay,
I
okay.
purchased them and I have them on my Switch. I own
Right,
them,
right. Yeah,
but they're
okay.
cheap. You can get them for like $8, $9, whatever.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and that's how I played Ori and the Blind Forest, was playing it on the Switch.
Right.
Yeah, so that I use it for that. Obviously, any actual retro stuff I play out here with the consoles and my cartridges, old school, and my CRTs, because that's how I am. But for the Switch is great for PC games and stuff. Old PC games I used to play.
That's cool.
So so
But
that's what I use it for.
they re-released Dark Forces too, or they are coming out with like a remastered version of that. That's supposed to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's supposed to like have modern.
Okay.
Things on it. Yeah.
But see, there's something so charming about. I don't know the term for it, but what's the term for when you're in a 3D world, but the enemies are still sprites, so they're like pancakes? Like when you go around them, they're still flat.
Yeah,
I love that. I love.
I don't think
because that's.
I don't think there is a word for that, but there should be.
Oh, maybe we should create one.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just, when I play an old 90s first person shooter, I love that. I love that quirkiness about them. They were still getting into trying to figure out how to make 3D games.
Yeah.
So some of the enemies are still sprites. It's kind of cool. Yeah. And that was like that with Dark Forces and Quake.
And Duke Nukem. Oh no, the first Quake was all I'm pretty sure the first Quake was all 3D. That was the very first all 3D.
Oh, okay.
Like all the enemies were 3D.
You might be right then, yeah.
Yeah. Because,
I'm thinking of Duke Nukem. You're right.
Duke Nukem was definitely still sprites. Yeah, it's really, when you go back to those games, it's really interesting to watch like the progression. Like, Wolfenstein 3D, it's very basic. Every room looks the friggin' same. You can get lost. Then the progression was Doom, where they started adding more, visually, like making each level, every 3 or 4 different levels, like visually different, and then you get to Duke Nukem, which was 3D environments now, because Doom and Wolfenstein 3D, it was all 2D. It was just an illusion that they used.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Finally in Duke Nukem 3D, you got 3D environments, but there were still sprites. But Duke Nukem 3D, I remember that was the first game where I had to start learning how to use the mouse and keyboard to play those games, because the pig cops would duck and shoot at you. And it's like, I got to learn how to shoot down. So
I also used to think it was so cool how you could flush a toilet and break a window. It was like kind of like the first one that I remember where you had the environmental quirks and you could like mess around with the environment a little bit.
Yeah. You go up to the pinball machine and you'd say, I don't have time to play with myself.
I love that. So
love those stuff. Games.
Yep.
Yeah. But then, Quake was that was the first, everything was 3D. And then Quake 2 came out, and that thing was like, that was like late 80s, and it looked like a PlayStation 2 original Xbox game. It was so amazing at the time. And those are good.
Yeah, I love revisiting that era of gaming for sure. And the only way I can do it, because I don't have a PC, is through my Switch. So that's one of the great things about it for me, is I can use it for that stuff.
Yeah, see,
so
that's why I
revisit that.
Yeah. I like, people get hard, like they get all upset or whatever when like games get ported over to other systems because they want it to be whatever exclusive and all that. And I'm like, put the games out there, let people play. As long as the ports are good, let people play them. Let them play them on the system that they want to play them on.
Absolutely. However, if you go back further, I really did appreciate when consoles had their own character or style, like NES versus Genesis, for example. You can tell a Genesis game, and sometimes a Genesis port of Aladdin is another classic example. It was a different game. So that, I loved all that competitive type of well, we got this, you're good at this, but we're gonna do it this way. And you had
I think you could still do that with like a publisher, like publisher to publisher. They have like different styles or whatever. I've always felt like, I get it, like with video games, the console and all that, and having a proprietary controller for the console and all that. But to me, it should be more like movies, right? Like, you don't go to well, nobody buys movies anymore, but let's pretend that you could still go to Best Buy and buy a Blu-ray, and it's a Universal Blu-ray, and you can only play it on a Universal Blu-ray player,
right?
So to me, video games should be like that. Like, you buy a video game and you should be able to play it on
especially now where they're all
PCs,
like cinematic, and there's a game. Exactly.
But every console is just a different version of a
Yes,
PC. It's just locked
100%.
into, whatever
A company,
proprietary.
right?
Yeah, like, Sony's got their own thing and Xbox and Nintendo, but at the heart of them, they're just PCs. They're not machines like they used to be.
Yeah, well, I'm very much out of touch with the modern gaming scene. I don't even know if I don't think it's doing very well, is it? Aren't games coming out and bombing all the time? And they spent 5, 6, 7 years making them and they can't make the money back and they're bloated. And I don't know. I hear a lot of that buzz out there.
Sort of. I guess, like, they're going to be coming out with a Grand Theft Auto game within the next year or two. That thing's going to sell like crazy, right?
Oh,
They
I'm
always
sure.
do well. But that might be the exception. It's a lot of it is like the single player world games. Those are kind of, I guess, hurting a little bit because they can't
Mhm.
put as much into them as they used to. Because a lot of them, they need that steady stream of income, right? In
Right.
order to make these things. They can't just rely on people just going and buying the game once. They need to like have you buying DLC and hats and all that. Like, that Fortnite game just makes tons of
Oh, yeah.
money, But I really don't know. I kind of been a little bit out of touch on the whole business side of it. I haven't been really paying attention that much to it, and Duke is locked up. He warned me that his feed might go out on him. Well, regardless, I mean, that was a little bonus episode I think you guys got at the end of the show. Let me just how do I do this now? I gotta take Duke out of here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, a little bonus there at the end of the show for you. I didn't mean for this episode to go on that long, but we don't talk to Duke as often as we do. We don't talk to anyone actually as often as we do. I think the last time we had a guest was 2021. Oh,
You
here.
there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Back. But it was me. I told you my internet was spotty. It made
Yeah.
it through the show for the most part, but it just
Yep.
dropped out, and I'm back on my phone now. So I guess
I
my
can't.
quality's okay. Sorry about that.
That's no worries. I can't see. I can only hear you, but it's okay. We're kind of done
Oh,
anyways. Oh, there you are.
yeah.
There you are. We're
Good.
kind of done anyways. Like I was just saying, we kind of gave them a bonus episode because we usually only go about an hour and a half, and we've
Oh,
gone for
man.
almost
I
3
feel
hours.
privileged. Thank you.
I know this is old school.
That's right.
Fandango.
3-hour episode, right?
Yeah. But
Well,
get caught up talking to
that's
Duke,
right.
and it's just we don't talk as often as we used to. So
No, we need to do better at that, I think.
well, and like when you look back at C3 stuff and all that at the time, as this is all happening, it's like, yeah, this is gonna happen like probably every year. Might miss a year or whatever, but like,
Right.
I'll be back in 2021 and 22, and then maybe I'll miss 23, but back in 24. Now the last one was 2019. That was 7 years ago.
Jeez, yeah.
The angry video game nerd was still relevant. That's how long ago it was. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah. Anyways, I think we should wrap it up.
Okay.
Here.
Crash the plane, as you used to say, right?
That's right. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching and listening. Thank you, Duke, for being on. It's a blast, and
Thank
we
you
should
so much
do
for having me.
it anytime, man. And actually, thanks for you reached out and kind of like, let's do an old school episode with Duke.
I want to get reacquainted with a lot of you guys, and I'm privileged to have done it with you, and I really appreciate it. This has been a blast, and I miss everybody. And again, I'm looking forward to maybe crawling back a little bit and seeing what everybody's up to, because some good people I've met.
Yeah.
And
I agree. Like
some of them interact with my Discord here and there. The Q Dogs jump in. Some other people, you guys, and I do glance at Twitter from time to time just to see what people are up to for the most part, but I don't.
It's pretty dead. It's
yeah, it seems that way.
like the Cartridge Club Discord has a few people on it, and the Q Dogs are always kind of available, but for the most, it's not like what it was where you could just like put out a tweet and everybody knew.
Man, we had some funny conversations on Twitter, man. I tell you, we had some. If I could go back and relive or see again some of remember some of those live streams were classic too, legendary. Remember the Q Dogs had their hood fan, and
Oh God.
That was some kind of meme, as they call it. And then
Yes.
I made another account, and I was the Hood fan. So I've got some great memories with that stuff. It was
Yeah.
just so fun, just having fun,
That was
good
so
times.
that was so great. Yeah.
The jokes were just,
I had an
coming
idea.
fast.
I had an idea for one of those too, where I wanted to be on it, but then I had a second account where I would like make fun of myself on it. And I called it five hits on Mars. So it looked like shits on Mars. And but I never got around to it. But see, like that's the stuff like you think you'll be able to do
Yeah.
it in the future, and then so you gotta live in the moment.
One
So
of my favorite memories too was when I did my one and only, I believe, live stream for, gosh, was it for a charity? I don't even, but was it for your father or something? I don't remember. Heart attack, wasn't it for that? And I did a glitch thing or something.
yes. Oh my
And
goodness.
we had so much. I was so well prepared, and I planned this whole thing out. And I did all these glitches with like Castlevania and
Yeah.
Zelda and Atari games and adventure, and the chat was rolling. It was so fun.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite memories of interacting with you guys.
Yeah.
It was a good time. Yeah,
It
that was
is so hard to get something started now. Like I've
yeah.
rebooted my channel. I have Buried on Mars back up and running. I so far have 0 subscribers because
Oh my gosh.
nobody knows. Nobody
I will
knows.
subscribe. Yeah.
I haven't put any real material out there. I just kind of like what I've been doing on Twitch. I just kind of like put over there, but I think I'm even gonna not bother to do that because that doesn't seem
Yeah.
to move the needle either way. But yeah, it's not like what
Yeah.
it was where and like well, I would start streaming and I'd at least get about 5 people that would come in and just check in and say hello or whatever. And
Yeah.
that'd be cool. But now it's just nobody. It's
Yeah.
but it's just because people don't know because they're not
Yeah.
tuned into the thing or
Well,
people are
obviously
busy.
you want some audience. Like for me with my podcast, I'm completely content if 4 or 5 people interact with me and say they enjoyed the show and say, "Oh, I remember that," or get on the Discord and say, "That was really funny," or something. That's all I need. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
It just has to be something.
Yeah.
And I as you used to say, I enjoy the conversation that I have with Chris in and of itself, even if
Right.
nobody hears it, that's fun to put something together that's somewhat organized and planned out and then edit it together and make a little creative thing out of it. And on top of it, as a bonus, if people comment or listen to it as well, then that's great. You want some version of that, but it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
dozens or hundreds of people for me anyway. Sometimes the smaller the better, honestly. Keep it curated, keep it controlled and condensed, and you can kind of keep it what you want.
Yeah. I mean, we've been doing Fandango since
I
2014.
know. It's
There
so
is
crazy how long.
there is no way we'd still be doing it if we didn't have the same attitude. Like pretty much the
Right.
show
Yeah.
has I would say devolved, but I should say evolved into just Richard and I having a conversation.
Right.
And it's I look forward to
Yeah.
doing it, because of timing
Yeah.
and scheduling and all that. We've only been doing one a month, but we've been trying to have a little more structure too, to have
Yeah.
something a little to talk about. But
Yeah.
Yeah. I just do miss that, like, that confidence. Like I used to put something out on Twitter, and I know that not that everybody had to join it or want it or whatever, but just that everybody knew it was there. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, this
Right.
is there if you want it. You don't if you don't want it, that's fine with me. I don't care. But you just know.
Right.
Now I know it's just like it's going out and nobody is getting it, and it's
Yeah. Yeah.
we don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
Like
It's different.
yeah.
Well, a lot of it is people don't have the patience to listen to an entire show. Their brains have been rewired to quick, 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 move on to
Yeah.
the next thing, and I
Attention
think that's
is
part of it. Yeah.
attention is definitely on those videos now. People
Yep.
don't they'll tell you if you're starting something now, you got to do those short videos.
Yeah.
You want to start a
Yeah.
podcast or anything, that's what drives traffic to your thing. You can't
Yes.
just tweet it out. You can't just go on another podcast or whatever. Those things might work, but what you have to do is put out those short videos.
Well,
Or
what we just talked about, that honestly, your words stuck with me. And when I decided to do a podcast with Chris, because of words that you said, my attitude was, I'm gonna just enjoy making this. And if there's something outside of that or more than that, then that's a bonus.
Yeah.
And that has to be because I don't want to get discouraged. Oh, nobody's watching, nobody's commenting. I got to make myself not care about that.
Right.
And
Yep.
just the creative process itself is what I find enjoyable. And talking to my friend about common interests, and
Yeah.
we have some great conversations. And to organize that and put it together in a somewhat entertaining way, or a condensed or edited way, is where I enjoy the editing process immensely. I love that.
Yeah. Me
So
too.
I have fun with it. And I, as a creative person, I have to do something. I have to have something
Yeah.
going that's creative. Otherwise, I can't stand it. So I went
I
from
hear you.
YouTube videos to a podcast. And before that, I would draw. I'd make videos that were private just for my family. Like remember the Star Wars or the Siblings in Arms video I made with my kids?
Yeah. Yeah.
The short film. That was
Yes.
before I was ever on YouTube. I just made movies with my kids and stuff because I
Yeah.
just like to create things. So it has to remain pure, or you're going to get discouraged.
Yeah, I think
know?
people get caught up into the whole monetization thing. I'm going to turn this
Yeah,
into a business. I'm going to turn it
right.
into you have other means of income. This is a hobby for you. So I think that's
Yeah.
the healthy way of going about it. And yeah, I'm same as you. I have to be creative. I have to be creating. If I'm not, if I get lazy and I just sit there and do nothing, I get very unsettled. I get like, what am I doing with my life and all that? Right now, I've filled like I'm doing this. I'm helping my other friend do another podcast on the side. I'm with the Cartridge Club doing that. Plus, with dealing with the sump pump and the water and the ditch and
Right, it's enough, right?
and everyday
You're
real life.
full.
It fills my life, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is.
Well,
this
you're a
is
lot
what I
like
need.
me. I mean, just like I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I consider myself a hobbyist. I enjoy lots of things, and
Yes, yeah,
I probably have too many hobbies, but I try to keep it under control for the most part. But it's very pure stuff. I don't get into things superficially. They're genuine, and I enjoy them. Usually, I stick to them forever. My new hobby, I don't know if I've talked about this with you before, is my running hobby. I've been an
I've
avid
heard you
trail
talk
runner
about it.
now
Yeah,
for, I don't know, 7, 8 years now, and I
mhm.
really dove in head first into that. And then I'm actually got a race tomorrow. Got to get up at
Wow.
4 o'clock in the morning and run.
Yeah, no, I hear you talk about it on your podcast. I think you're crazy, um,
I am.
because I look. I know for me, I physically would not be able to keep up with that. Like what you drove like 16 hours to get to a race one time. Like the 16 hours alone would be that's okay. I'm done for the week.
Oh yeah, we drove to Alabama, and my wife ran 100 miles, and I ran 50 miles.
Yeah, I'd be
But
dead.
it's hard if you don't do it. I could never explain to you why we do it. It's
Oh,
crazy, I know, but
yeah. No,
there's
I do
something about it. I
understand. Like,
mean,
yeah, I understand. If I could do it, I probably would. I don't think I can. I don't. I walk. Sarah and I, we walk for an hour in our neighborhood. That's good for us.
it's
That's
obviously it's an extreme sport. It's not for everyone. It's a very unique personality type, maybe that enjoys the suffering of something like that, because that's what it is. You're putting yourself through misery
yeah,
and pain. I don't even know why. There's something that's enjoyable and satisfying about it. So yeah, it's a weird thing, but I love it, and I'm so glad that I found the hobby, and it keeps me in shape, and it's something that I enjoy very much, and push for new goals and all that stuff. But it also, as an introvert, I love solitude, and I love
yeah,
being by myself in the woods, and it's just like hunting. My favorite part about hunting is being in the tree all by yourself for 4 or 5 hours, and just that I love that. That's how I refuel as an introvert. My wife's an extrovert. She's the opposite. She can't stand being alone. She's got to be with people all the time. So it's just part of my nature. But that plays into why I love running, because you're in the woods all by yourself. And I just love that. It's
yeah.
solitude. I love my solitude.
I
So it's
prefer.
very therapeutic.
I'm an introvert as well, and I prefer being an introvert because you only have so much bandwidth for
Yeah.
people, and you end up getting deeper relationships with people than instead of like shallow. Like I used to like think like, oh, extroverts are they could just be friends with anybody, but then you realize like the 20, like when they go to a party and talk to 20 people, they have a really shallow relationship with those 20 people. Not to knock all the extroverts up there, but for me, I prefer to sit down and have that long form conversation with someone instead of
I'm
just
the same way.
Yeah.
And I'm a very loyal person, so my friendships are deep and are meaningful to me. None of them are superficial, which is why, like with Chris, you know, we've been friends for a long, long time now, and I'm not gonna let him go. You know, I consider him a friend now. He's not going anywhere unless he runs away from me, and I can catch him because I'm a runner.
Well, his videos are taking off there, so
yeah, it's been fun, but yeah,
so maybe he'll get too big. He'll get too big for the Retro Nonsense podcast.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, I think he's a loyal friend. He'll stick with me, I think.
I think that is so great that his videos are doing well, and
it's cool.
It was nice to hear how like he's grounded with the whole, like, you know,
yes,
you know what he's doing with the extra cash and all that stuff. That was just like, that was really nice to hear, you know, because there's so many people that would just, you know.
No, Chris is absolutely one to be responsible with that. And he puts, you know, it's very admirable because he puts the work in, and he does it for the love of it. He's actually passionate. He's actually talented in those realms. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And that's the primary. And it's cool when he makes a lot of money or some money and gets the viral videos going. It's just, it's a hobby to him, and he enjoys it. And I just love seeing that. It's very genuine in him, you know?
Yeah.
So he does it for the right reasons, in my opinion.
Yeah. Cool. All right. We really need to wrap up now. Everybody got a bonus episode.
That's right. Bonus boner.
Wait, I got to find that. There we go. Oh,
boner.
The soundboard isn't as good as the old
I can't
soundboard.
hear it anyway.
It can't, eh?
Maybe I'll be your boner.
That's weird.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks so much, Duke. It's been awesome. We'll do it again.
I appreciate it.
If we do it again sooner, maybe we won't have to talk for 3 hours and 10 minutes.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to stop this. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening. We'll catch you next time.
Have a good one.